Good morning, now 5 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And thankful on this Tuesday morning that we're not starting out with fog as we did yesterday.
30s this morning, little patchy frost in some spots, nothing overly widespread. Upper 60s and near 70 with plenty of sunshine this afternoon.
WSMV4 Stefano DiPietro, he says there may be some patchy fog, but nothing like yesterday. He also says that by Friday, we'll be getting some significant rain and thunderstorms. Keep it here. We'll keep you posted. The Evolve weapons detection system worked well yesterday when it detected a gun in the backpack of a student entering James Lawson High School. After getting a hit on that weapon, security searched the 16-year-old's backpack and found a stolen gun, ammo, and an extended magazine. This dad tells Channel 4 he's thankful for the new layer of security.
I'm happy that we are preventing school shootings from happening because we have these weapon detection systems. It does, to me, highlight an area that still needs to be focused on, which is what are we doing to reach our children, to get them to have a outlet besides ending up with violence.
Now, that teen is charged with bringing a gun onto school property and the juvenile weapon possession. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
A mixed day on Wall Street as the Dow Jones takes a tumble, but the S&P 500 sees a sharp boost from AI companies Monday. NVIDIA, in particular, enjoying a large wave of support following newly announced deals with Amazon and Microsoft. The Dow lost 225, the S&P 500 rose 11, and the NASDAQ is up 109 points. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is widening a federal probe into Tesla after they continue to receive complaints from owners who became trapped inside their Model Ys due to the car's retractable door handle. The company is now required to provide records on the handle's safety to regulators by December 10th. French authorities have warned fast fashion giant Shein that they face a potential blackout in the country after the company was found selling sex dolls, quote, with a childlike appearance, violating French law. This announcement comes just days before the company's first physical location in Paris is set to open. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning sharply lower. The Dow futures minus 340 right now. The NASDAQ futures dropping 342. We've got S&P futures down 69 points. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Starting out early with some problems here on 840 eastbound before New Nashville Highway. That's exit 55. There is a crash and the left lane is blocked off by that. Also, you've got work on 24 eastbound continuing this morning. It's overnight work that continues. It's between Harding Place, exit 56, and Bell Road, exit 59 in the Antioch area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so I want predictions. Sam and Joan.
Okay.
Are we going to hit the record for the, because I'm assuming that the shutdown is still going on, right? So
as far
we are
as
now day 35 of the shutdown. What are your thoughts? What's the over-under on whether or not we're going to hit the record? Because the record is tomorrow. That'll be, 36 days?
Yeah.
I believe. So, because we've tied it today, the all-time record. And so if it goes till tomorrow, well, then we've, hit the record. So what do you think? Sam, Joan, what do you think?
So I think it really depends on how the elections roll out today.
Yes, because there's some people that are saying that there is the intention. I think John Thune, Senate Majority Leader, even came out and said that he does expect a resolution to this whole thing by this week, at some point this week. And I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. They may be waiting till after the election. Although, to be honest with you, and maybe you can explain it to me, why would they wait until after this election? Is it because they know that they're going to have to, I'm going to air quote this, give in to the Republicans and the Republicans are going to win?
Well, I think it's because they're so out of touch, they have to see some hard evidence that they're losing the people.
Listen. And Joan, what do you say to that?
So if you look at ABC News webpage today, they have Democrats, what's her name, Mikey Sherrill, winning in New Jersey over the Republican. They have Abigail Spanberger winning over Winsome Sears in Virginia. And they have Prop 50 in California winning so that more Democrat seats will be had in Congress. So what they're doing is setting it up so that there's this big win for Democrats, and then they'll go in and end the shutdown, and they'll look like the heroes.
So, yeah, in that Prop 50 in California, that's as far as the redistricting thing. They had to, Arnold Schwarzenegger is, losing his, what over that, because he was the one that put into place these policies where a governor and the state of California could not put in partisan redistricting. Well, now they put it up for a referendum. Prop 50, apparently that's going to pass. So I think that it is not surprising that the Democrats are going to get a victory in, I don't know much about the New Jersey race, but I know that the Virginia race, we've been talking about this with Matthew Hurt and with other people as well. I think it is horrifying. By the way, any word on the attorney general race there in the state of Virginia?
It's close, but it appears that Jason Miyares will continue on as the AG in the state.
Okay, so Jay Jones will not. That's a guy who wrote the text.
Correct, yeah.
The horrifying text messages. But, I think that, what does it tell you about the Democrats where you got Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat who would not condemn the text messages from, Jay Jones.
Yeah.
And she's going to win. What does that tell you about the Democrats? I mean, there was a time when that kind of scandal would sink the entire party.
There was a time you'd face criminal charges for making jokes like that.
Yeah. And so now the Democrat, remember what I said the other day with the Matt Van Epps commercial where it was, he's got, what's her name running for the Democrats. What is her name? Help me out. The local Democrat running for the 7th.
Afton Brainless?
Afton Bain. Afton Bain.
Oh.
Where Afton Bain, or Brainless, yes, where she is talking about how she's very proud of the fact that they were bullying ICE. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, this commercial sounds great Afton Bain, it was a commercial for Matt Van Epps, pointing out Afton Bain, again, preening for the camera and saying, oh, how great it is that we're bullying ICE. And it's horrifying to conservatives and Republicans and law-abiding citizens. But the left, they're all over it. I said this could just as easily be a commercial for the Democrats. Hey, look at how great Afton Bain is bullying ICE, doxing ICE, telling the bad guys where ICE is when ICE has, or Trump officials have bounties on their heads.
Yeah.
So you look at Virginia and the governor's race and Spanberger, and she's just, she refuses to condemn this guy, and yet the Democrats vote for her. It is horrifying. But that shows you the state of the Democrat Party, where they just don't care. It is like anything but Republicans, anything but Trump. You know what I mean? So that's part of what's going on today. And we got elections all across, America. We've got the New Jersey. We've got Virginia. Those are the two big ones. And, of course, the proposition in California as well.
Don't forget that Spanberger repeatedly getting out in front of people saying, let your rage fuel you.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that's incitement.
Well, part of my storyline today is, and I'm not going to do it right now, but there was a big poll out. I don't know if you guys saw it, where you've got a lot of Americans saying that they expect political violence to continue.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. It is 5:11, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. It is day 35 of the shutdown. So if we hit tomorrow, it'll be the longest. So both of you think that this shutdown will go to tomorrow?
I do. Yeah.
I would take on the over under. I'm going to go over and say that we won't have a resolution until next week.
Can you do the Daily Dan poll today? Let's do a Daily Dan poll on that. Speaker Mike Johnson, by the way, talking about this. This was on Fox News.
The entire media establishment is parroting the talking points of the Democrats every day. It's the most staggering level of gaslighting we have ever seen in American politics. Literally, the Democrats have voted 14 times to close the government down, where Republicans have voted 14 times to open it. And right after they cast the votes, they go out and find the nearest television camera they can. They look right into the lens and they say, it's the Republicans' fault. It's just madness. It's absolutely the opposite of the truth. But I think the longer this drags on and the more pain that's experienced by real Americans, I think they're going to be digging beyond the headlines and looking to see who's really responsible, and the facts are very clear.
One of the things, and I hate to disagree with the Speaker of the House, but I think he's wrong about this being an example, one of the most egregious examples of gaslighting. Because, to me, and I'd be willing to bet most folks would agree with me, that really the gaslighting of Alejandro Mayorkas and the Democrats telling us that the border was secure, I think that was far and away a bigger example, a more appropriate example of the worst gaslighting out there. Because I think you want to talk about gaslighting where the border is secure, when we had drone footage of people just coming across the border. We had independent journalists. So I don't want to quibble with the Speaker of the House, but come on. But now he is right, though, about how there is some in the media that are gaslighting. What were we going to say?
I was going to say being told that the 46th president was mentally fit.
Another example of gaslighting. We could go on and on about this, couldn't we?
Yeah.
What are some of the other big examples of gaslighting? Joan, you got one? So Sam has telling us that Biden was mentally fit was one form of gaslighting, and I would agree with that. Another form of gaslighting from the years of the Biden administration was the border is secure.
If you take the vaccine, you won't get COVID, and you have to have it to go back to work.
Girls can be boys, boys can be girls.
Ooh,
there you go.
That's a good one.
But see,
you're a terrible parent if you don't trans your kid.
Right.
But see, isn't gaslighting where you are lying and the people that you're lying to actually know that it's a lie? So they actually believe, Democrats actually believe that boys can be girls and girls can be boys. They literally, it's part of the insanity of the Democrat Party, but they actually believe that. Gaslighting is you're lying, everybody knows that you're lying, and yet you continuously lie. So I don't know if I would call that gaslighting.
They don't actually believe it. And when it comes down to abortion, then they'll say, well, only if you're a woman can you have an opinion about that.
Yeah, but that's irrational, not gaslight. Whatever. You know what? It doesn't matter. But here, I do actually have a couple of examples of the media pushing back, actually, against the Democrats. And I've got all of that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is 5:15 on Nashville's Morning News. Time to check the roads.
So we've got the construction still being worked on this morning. In fact, they're saying now that it's just now being cleared on 24 eastbound between Harding Place and Bell Road. It could take a while to pick them up this morning. Watch the on and off ramps as well being closed because of it. Got a crash too on I-840 eastbound in Blackman. This is between I-24 and New Nashville Highway. That's exits 53 and 55. That stretch of roadway is closed because of that crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I did hit some fog this morning, Joan.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
So, Stefano was saying just a little bit of fog here and there, not a whole lot like yesterday.
The fog that I hit this morning was actually worse than what I hit yesterday.
Whoa.
In Mount Juliet.
Okay. So, there you go.
Whatever.
People beware.
Mm-hmm. Get Stefano on the phone.
Right now.
That's okay. So, yeah, there is definitely fog out there, so be careful. Is it low beams during the fog? Is that what you're supposed to do? Okay,
yeah.
low
No
beams
high
during
beams.
the fog.
Yeah.
And when it rains on Friday, be sure to turn on your lights.
And get your galoshes.
To be honest, I don't know what I would do with myself if I wasn't nagging somebody about something. You don't actually say that at home? My wife and Riker. They said, if you're not nagging us about, brushing your teeth or dishes or whatever, you just don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, to be fair, to your point, it is state law to turn your lights on not just when it's raining, but when it's overcast.
It is not state law to nag.
It's a superpower.
You know what? That is my superpower. Nagging is my superpower, which is really kind of sad. By the way, do you know Murphy Show and I have something in common? I'm not going to say what it is until 5:35. Super texters, do you know what Matt Murphy and I have in common besides being somewhat annoying at times? Do you know what we both have in common? Going to talk about that at 5:35 on Nashville's Morning News. Now, is the media beginning to push back on the Democrats and this notion that it is the Republicans that are responsible for the government shutdown? Now, this is Representative Sarah McBride. She is out of Delaware. Listen to this, because she's on with Brianna Keeler. And Keeler kind of, punks her a little bit. Listen to this and watch this. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, blah, 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 you can see this as well.
It's on Republicans to figure this out. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
No, but let me.
And so I'm not going to sit here and.
But you're in the House.
Yeah.
But in the Senate, there's a 60-vote threshold. The president is calling for that, the nuclear option, to get rid of that. And I hear you're saying Republicans are making a choice. Democrats are also making a choice.
It's on Republicans to figure this out. They control the House, the Senate.
Are you absolutely positive? So, hey, Joan.
Yeah.
Did you know that Sarah McBride is actually a man?
Yes.
Oh, am I the only one that didn't know? All right, fine. I'm the only one apparently that didn't know.
You're not helping their narrative.
I had no idea until Sarah spoke. He, she, whatever. Until he spoke, I didn't realize that was a woman. So
right, let me show you, baby.
there you go.
Yeah.
That ain't no woman. It's a man.
What were you
He does
saying, John?
pretty well. I mean, he looks. He pretty.
Yeah, that interview on CNN.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. It just looking, I would never have known. Would you have known that
Yes.
old Sarah was a man? Would
Yeah.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Does Sarah still
Speaking
have
of
her
gaslighting.
Adam's apple?
That's
a dead giveaway.
It's on Republicans
You can't see
to
it.
figure this out. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
It's the voice that gives it away.
Yeah.
It's the voice and, the jawline and the facial
But you know what?
structure.
Here's the thing about the voice.
House.
No, but let me.
And so I'm not going to sit here.
She could be a smoker because smoker's got that thing going on.
Yeah, but
Okay.
smoking brings your voice down.
Oh yeah, her voice sounds like it's down.
But you're in the House.
Yeah.
But in the
Shut up,
Senate,
Brianna.
there's a
We're trying to do
60-vote
something.
threshold. The president is calling for that, the nuclear option, to get.
I don't care. Democrat. That's all I care about. Anyway, so
Excellent.
but could you tell, Joan? Seriously, you could not tell that old Sarah McBride was a man on that video? I couldn't tell.
I just known that this person is a man and that
Yeah.
this person.
His name's Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Tim's got nice hair. But in your hair, Sam.
Well, with that 6-figure salary in the U.S. government, can afford the finer products in life.
You know, they can get haircuts right there in the Capitol.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Probably a little Nutrafol to fill in the gaps.
I'm not sure what Nutrafol is. What is Nutrafol?
It's an organic hair enhancement supplement.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So if I took some Nutrafol, would my hair magically grow back?
Maybe a few strips of it.
A few strands here and there, maybe?
Yeah.
Do some Nutrafol? All right, moving right along. Democrats, just getting back to the point, she said Republicans have made a choice to close down the government. And Breonna Keeler said, well, Democrats have made a choice, and they have. They have voted to shut down the government. Now, I'm seeing 13 or 14 times. I don't know what it is now at this point. Mike Johnson said 14. Breonna Keeler said 14, but I Googled it, and it said 13, whatever. It's in the teens. But they are the ones that refuse to pass the same continuing resolution that they have approved time and again under Joe Biden. Republicans have said over and over again, I don't want to belabor the point, but Republicans have said over and over again, open the government and let's negotiate. And the Democrats are, simply put, refusing. Now, we all know Charlemagne. Did you hear what Charlemagne said about this whole thing? You know what they say, Joan? Once you lose Charlemagne, you've lost America.
Oh, yeah. America? Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yes.
It's an obvious,
Good.
yet another stupid joke. Anyway, and I'm full of them, apparently. So, but what did Charlemagne say about the whole government shutdown as it relates to the Democrats winning or losing? I'm going to give you a hint. Charlemagne has basically said, you know what, Democrats? You've lost. You've lost. He and John Fetterman, both of them, obviously we know where John Fetterman sits with all this, but Charlemagne came out and he said, the Democrats have lost the plot on this one and they are losing. And so they do need to open up the government. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. It is 522. And Joan has the news at 5:30. Oh, wow. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at 84.
What?
This just came from CNN.
Check that out. Well, I don't have that headline, but I'll take a look at it and have something for you in a couple of minutes here.
Okay, yeah. Dick Cheney, dead at 84.
How about that? Okay, and also want to tell you that a couple of pedestrians were struck in South Nashville yesterday, but there are no charges being considered in the case. We'll tell you why. And stealing and sex on the job, why a couple of Mount Juliet employees are under investigation. Those stories at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
527, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jonah, I've got to clarify something.
What's that?
So when I didn't notice that the lawmaker from Delaware said that I didn't notice that Sarah McBride, when I didn't notice that he was a she, I didn't know that trans and all that. I just thought that was a woman. This was the first piece of video that I pulled this morning. I was very blurry-eyed when I saw it this morning, and I didn't notice until I played the audio as it's embedded in my notes and stuff that I realized that, she was a he. Because people are like, how did you not notice that was a boy? It's like, I don't know. I didn't even really look at it. I didn't even have my coffee when I pulled this at midnight.
Let me show you, baby. That ain't no woman. It's a man.
So anyway, Dick Cheney. So what do you think, Dick Cheney, among conservatives? Now, I'm not going to disparage the dead. He just passed away. All right. So I'm not disparaging anyone. But what do you think Dick Cheney will be most known for among conservative circles? I believe that he'll be most known for among Republicans as backing Kamala Harris in this election the last year. I think that's what he'll be most known for.
It was the most disappointing development ever because I really liked Dick Cheney. I really liked him. And I thought maybe, spinning off his daughter, maybe that was an aberration.
Yeah.
But apparently it wasn't. It wasn't at all. They're part of the deep state. They're part of the, the uniparty.
Yeah, the problem with Dick Cheney, and again, he was very public about his opposition to Donald Trump and his support of Kamala Harris. And you're right, deeply disappointing. But I think for me, and I don't want to go on and on about Dick Cheney, but I think for me, that was such a classic example of old Republican Party versus new Republican Party.
Yes,
and Dick Cheney was emblematic of that. So, I'm not going to bash a guy who just died. Trust me on that. But, I mean, if we're going to analyze his political career, to me, that is what he's known for among current conservatives, I believe. And I could be wrong.
Well, I would say in the not as seasoned generations, he'll be remembered as a warmonger who pulled Bush's strings that shot his friend while hunting.
Well, yes, there's that as well. Who did he shoot? I don't even remember who Dick Cheney shot.
This is his friend that went.
They all went hunting.
They were quail hunting. Remember?
They went quail hunting. No, not Dan Quayle.
No,
they went
not,
actual bird, whatever. All right, it's 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 5:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and in the news this morning. Of course, we've been talking about Dick Cheney dying here in the news, that information just crossing the lines this morning. And it was just a statement from his family. So far, we have no further details about it, but we will continue to dig into the cause of his death and the events surrounding it as the morning goes on. In South Nashville yesterday, a mother and child recovering. They were hit by a car while walking to school yesterday. This happened at Tusculum Road and Hasty Drive about 8 o'clock. The two were on their way to McMurray Middle School. This neighbor telling Channel 4 that she could see something like this coming down the road.
They walking down the street on the wrong side of the street without sidewalks. And I'd be like, that's so dangerous. Why don't they just get on the sidewalk? But I don't know what could be done about that.
Now, the mom and child are expected to be okay. The driver is not being charged. Police are saying this incident was an accident. New information today about why 2 city employees were abruptly fired last week from Mount Juliet's IT department. WSMV4's Jeremy Finley got his hands on the personnel files for IT Director Travis Taylor and IT Tech River Johnson.
According to their personnel files, the investigation was launched after an anonymous crime tip came in that Johnson partnered with his supervisor, Taylor, in a, quote, scheme to sell old city-used cell phones for personal profit, and that both men had been involved in, quote, inappropriate sexual relationships during work hours on city property.
The pair had also been disciplined for several violations, including sexual harassment, according to Finley's investigation. Now, Taylor and Johnson are being investigated also by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. That's the latest news. Traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks like they picked up that construction on 24 this morning in the Antioch area. Finally gone now, and the ramps leading onto the highway are also reopened. You do have volume delays traveling in on 24. The Pleasant View area down into the Jolton area looks particularly slow this morning. Not sure if that's just volume. 24 westbound heading in looks okay with just some minor delays. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$537. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well. And I want to slide this over real quick. We all know our friend Turd Ferguson. Joan, you know Turd?
Yes, I think I'm looking at the picture you're looking at.
Yeah. And Sam Turd Ferguson, he's our friend. He's a big commentator. I
talk to him like every day. So.
And he over on YouTube. We love Turd. So anyway, he has sent me a picture of himself and Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Now, Turd is a respected veteran and a big friend of the station. And so that is the infamous Turd Ferguson, if you're watching on YouTube, when he was, I don't know, Turd looks to be about in his 20s or whatever. Anyway,
yeah, he looks young.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you there, Turd?
So anyway, Dick Cheney dead. Most people are saying, do you know what the awkward thing is? Like, you and I were talking about what Dick Cheney will be known for amongst Republican circles. I don't feel like I should really talk much about this because I don't have a lot of kind things to say about Dick Cheney. And I feel like I shouldn't even just go down that road.
We kind of like to forget 2000 to 2004 in a lot of respects.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, Dick Cheney's dead, 84. And boy, don't read what people are saying on the super text line. Holy mackerel. By the way, I did ask the question, what do Matt Murphy and I have in common?
Yeah.
Did you know what 4702 said?
What?
You both think that you're more important than you actually are. I actually laughed at that. I thought that was funny.
Wow.
Now, first of all, anybody who knows me, and I believe that Joan would back me up on this, anybody that knows me knows that my level of self-importance is like not at all. Like, I could probably use a little more air of self-importance about me. I mean, that is how unimportant I believe that I am, just so we're clear. But both Matt Murphy and I...
Humble is your middle name. Go on.
Humble is my middle name. Both Matt Murphy and I got dinged on YouTube. My show, Joan, our show yesterday got pulled off of YouTube.
And why is that?
I think that the Joe Rogan people were so worried that I was about to overtake him that they pulled me down.
I see.
I think that's what it was. Or YouTube, they can't handle the truth. Or I may have got dinged for a copyright violation. So we played Saturday, but we're trying to figure out what it is. Because, you know, when YouTube pulls you down.
It's typically for copyrighted music, if anything.
Yeah. And so we played, the only thing I can think of is that we played some audio from a football game where they were talking about the
Daisy Dukes on the kicker.
The Daisy Dukes on the Oklahoma kicker. We also played Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And we played audio from Saturday Night Live. And what did Chris bring to the table?
Another football play.
That's right. Tony Romo.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of those. So I think that once Murphy Show actually wakes up about 11 o'clock today, I'm going to call him and ask him, okay, so what's the commonality? Why did both of us get dinged? Because I don't know. I don't know what it is.
That's interesting.
It's annoying, though, because...
They should have to tell you, if they take you down, why they took you down, and they should tell you right away. That's so unfair. It's so unfair.
Yeah, at least the Muslim migrants in the UK have that courtesy.
So 1844 says it was the football thing. 1012. Dick Cheney eats small orphan children.
Oh, my goodness.
These are the kind of things that we're getting on. You know what, guys? If you can't say anything nice, right? So.
I mean, his mother did name him Richard.
0975 says both me and Murphy are old grumpy farts. Am I an old grumpy fart? I'm not an old grumpy fart, am I?
You don't come across as old. Not totally discounting grumpy fart yet.
Whatever. Let's see here. It was the ding dong conversation that we had yesterday. Remember that whole thing?
Oh, it was the ding dongs, yeah. Clearly.
I forget exactly what it was. You know what I think it was?
Dan likes ding dongs and he doesn't discriminate on the flavor.
So the funny thing is that Chris Hand apparently yesterday had all kinds of fun. Well, you were here, Joan. Did Chris have all kinds of fun with me being dragged off of YouTube yesterday.
Not while I was here.
Apparently, Chris was having all kinds of fun with it, saying not only did Dan get pulled off, but what you need to do is in celebration of that, go watch my show 3 times just to, build up his numbers. Because, what I do, and I'm just going to be honest, because I do need, clearly my ego needs the feeding. So I like to watch my numbers as they go up throughout the day because my YouTube and Facebook and all that, my streaming numbers go up throughout the day. I like that because I like to see how I'm doing. And so Chris and I have a friendly rivalry going back and forth about who gets the most, me or him. And it's totally friendly. So so Chris and I have fun with that. So the fact that he was asking, what were Chris's, hey, look up real quick, what were Chris's numbers yesterday? And then I'm going to get down to business. But what were Chris's numbers on YouTube yesterday? I'm wondering if people listen to Chris and they went and they clicked on his show 3 times. Because you know what happens when you click on Chris's show 3 times, he just magically appears, kind of like Beetlejuice.
So he got 1,223 views.
Okay.
And 116 likes on yesterday's stream.
Brian says, when I was a dumb liberal, I didn't care for Cheney. And when I grew up and became a conservative libertarian, I didn't like him even more. Still, and I like what Brian says. I can't celebrate death. That's the thing. I'm not celebrating his death at all. No. But when we pass on and we're politicians and we do certain things, then you go back and you remember the things, both good and bad, that you did in your life. And it's the same thing with Dick Cheney. I can't sit here and say that I was pleased that he became a never-Trumper in the end. I can't. I don't wish him death. I don't wish him harm. I hope he's up in heaven, But Dick Cheney, he died at 84.
The man had a bad heart for forever. I remember it. Oh, he got a heart transplant.
He did.
That was 2014. He's lived, he lived 11 years after that.
I was about to say, God's been trying to get him for a minute.
Do you remember Conan O'Brien back when it was the Bush-Cheney ticket? And Conan O'Brien knew that George W. didn't drink and Cheney had a bad heart. And the slogan he promoted was "No liquor, bad ticker."
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. No, I had forgotten about that. But yes, very funny indeed.
So, Cheney smoked a lot. He had that bad heart.
Was he a smoker?
Oh,
and he lived to be 84.
Yeah, I mean,
This is what I don't understand about smoking.
Yeah.
Like we could talk about the great lies that our parents, and this is not a lie, kids, just so we're clear. But like my parents used to always tell me, don't smoke, you'll end up with cancer, right? So, but then somebody like Dick Cheney, who apparently smoked a lot, according to Joan, lives to be 84. George Burns lived over 100 years old. He smoked those, those...
The cigars?
Cigars.
Like 10 or 12 a day?
Yes.
My dad was a chain smoker. The first cigarette went into his mouth when his legs swung over the side of the bed. And, in the morning. And after he decided that smoking wasn't good for him, smoking cigarettes wasn't good for him, he smoked a pipe. Inhaled the pipe for years and years and years. He did not die of cancer, of lung cancer, of any issues. He never even had one breathing issue.
What did he die of?
He had prostate cancer that metastasized.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always wanted to like pipes. They always seem very intriguing to me. And I think pipes actually smell good.
Yeah, pipe tobacco smells amazing.
When I smell a pipe he always smoked cherry vanilla. When I smell that, it just takes me back.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of intrigued by pipes. I would never smoke a pipe. I would never smoke a cigar. People have been trying to get me to smoke cigars for like years.
Cigars are where it's at.
I'm not going to. I have gone 57 years old. I don't know if I've ever even tried to smoke a cigarette.
Not even in middle school when someone stole a pack off their dad? No?
No.
What?
No.
Wow.
Like a rite of passage in this country.
I used to smoke.
Did you, Joan?
Yeah.
I never.
Yeah, but you probably made it look cool.
Oh, I quit when I wanted to have kids. Just cold turkey.
I'm trying to think of if I ever have actually tried to smoke a cigarette. Because I'd be the guy at the party. Nobody ever invited me to parties, but if I did, I'd be the guy that would be like trying to smoke
in the corner by himself, trying to smoke.
Well, that was not trying to smoke, but I mean, but if somebody wanted me to try to smoke and I did, I'd be the guy coughing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I don't know if I've ever tried to smoke a tobacco cigarette. Hey, anyway, so Dick Cheney's dead. Moving right along. Hey, did you hear what Nancy, just very quickly, did you hear what Nancy Pelosi said about Donald Trump? This is going to be an even bigger conversation in the next hour, but Nancy Pelosi said this about Donald Trump, and you wonder why a whole bunch of Americans in a new poll are out there saying that political violence, they do expect political violence to continue to rise. Listen to this.
It's just a vile creature.
It goes quick. She calls Donald Trump just a vile creature. Listen.
It's just a vile creature.
A vile creature.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, I'll be the first to admit, I've called Democrats vile because of their behavior.
Well,
But-
she and Maxine Waters look like a couple of mummies.
It's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst? Nancy Pelosi says that Donald Trump is the worst thing on the earth.
Shut up.
So Donald Trump, according to Nancy Pelosi, right? Worse than Hitler, worse than Stalin, worse than drug dealers. You know, I mean, worse than the illegal aliens that killed Rachel Marin and Laken Riley. Donald Trump is worse than all of those people, according to Nancy Pelosi.
Worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah.
I love how, you know, these reporters, if I'm the reporter and somebody says that to me and I pretend, this is on CNN, how do you not push back on that? It's like, okay, so I'm gonna do a list of really bad people that have been on Earth, whether we're talking about, you know, Hitler, Stalin, the drug cartel leaders, the ones that have bounties on ICE, members of ICE and so forth, and all the other horrible leaders that are out there across the world. And she apparently seems to think that Donald Trump is worse than all of them. And the reporter, here's the thing, the reporter doesn't push back. Like, Joan, is a reporter, wouldn't you, or a journalist, wouldn't you say, well, can we go through some of the really bad people that have been on Earth or are on Earth right now? How do you not push back on that?
You need, I mean, it's a crime against humanity when a journalist doesn't do their job.
Well, yeah,
when something like that is said. It
is a crime. It is a crime against journalism, certainly. And for this reporter, he sort of feigns surprise. But if I'm interviewing somebody and I hear that, like, I know me, I'm just going to leap with a question. Let's go through some of the names.
I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives.
Donald Trump has abolished the House of Representatives. Can we get Scott Desjardins on the phone?
Did something happen we didn't know about?
Yeah, what the hell happened overnight? The House of Representatives is gone. By the way, oh my goodness. Did you see what happened to Scott Desjardins?
No.
Yes or no, Sam? Did you see what happened to Scott Desjardins?
No.
Okay. We're going to talk about that coming up next right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 551 on Nashville's Morning News. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. And Joan has the news coming up at 6. Joan.
Yeah, we have more on the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. Also, there has been another threat against President Trump's life and an arrest. We've got the details coming up here at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so what happened to Scott Desjardins? This is funny. So apparently the good news, Joan and Sam, is that he got an endorsement from Donald Trump. The bad news is that Trump wrote the following. Congresswoman Scott Desjardins is a fantastic advocate for Tennessee's 4th Congressional District.
Oops. Congressman Tim Burchett also received a glowing endorsement from President Donald Trump.
Yes, he did.
Oh, did he? What did he say about Tim Burchett? Well, by the way, first of all, let me finish up on Desjardins. I think karma is rough because I think that's what happens when you call me a piece of,
First of all, Dan, how do I get a Dan Mandis toilet? I was listening to your ads, and I thought that'd be really fun to have a Dan Mandis toilet.
You know what? It is so classic that Zentex, so appropriate that Zentex is giving away a toilet with a purchase because, when you think of Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News.
I need to go take a Dan.
No.
So, I'm sorry, Congressman. It's unfortunate that the President of the United States called you a woman. I'm kidding, by the way. We love Scott Desjardins. Anyway, go ahead. Tim Burchett.
Yeah, so President Trump said that Congressman Tim Burchett is an America First patriot who is doing a fantastic job representing Tennessee's 2nd Congressional District, lists his achievements, and then concludes with an all caps, "He will never let you down."
Did he not say anything about Tim Burchett's great skateboarding ability?
He did not.
Because,
he didn't even need to, apparently. That's what I take.
That's what Tim Burchett, sadly, amongst a lot of folks, that seems to be what they know about the congressman is his great skateboarding ability.
Well, and his ability to just craft them, and then the restriction from government saying that he can't sell them while, the Pelosi's are worth $400 million.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, well, good. So it looks like, and I know that the president has been rolling out the endorsements. He endorsed
Andy Ogles, too.
Andy Ogles, Scott Desjardins, Tim Burchett, Matt Van Epps. Of course, that was a very big deal in that special election. So there is
very active on his Truth Social account yesterday.
Trump was?
Oh, yeah.
Well, run it down. What else did he do?
Lots of these endorsements.
Okay,
Sherrod Biggs. Yeah, people that we don't even know. In different states, and railing against Kathy Hochul in New York, Mamdani in New York. I just had so much to say. And this is all within, this was 16 hours ago. There must be 30, 40 true socials about people.
It is election day.
Yes.
In New York, in Virginia, and New Jersey, I guess. And so, yeah, this is D-Day for New York, the city of New York with Mamdani. Have you seen the polls? By the way, real quick, have you seen the polls in New York? So Mamdani is clearly winning.
Yeah.
The other than Mamdani vote is more than Mamdani. In other words, you've got Cuomo and you've got Sliwa. If Sliwa would just drop out, because Sliwa's got 16%. If Sliwa would drop out, which is too late now, but if he would drop out, then that support would go to Cuomo.
From what I understand, also, Eric Adams is still on the ballot.
Yeah, that's another one. Eric Adams is still on the ballot.
There's a lot going against anybody but Mamdani.
It'll be an interesting election. James O'Keefe apparently was undercover trying to register and was successfully registered as an illegal migrant in New York to vote for Mamdani.
Not shocking. All right, it is 6 o'clock. Oof. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Now, the statement from his family says that he died last night due to complications from pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. His health issues were not a secret. Fox News' Ainsley Earnhardt on Cheney just this morning.
He did have a long history of cardiovascular disease. According to this article I'm reading, they said that he had a periodic need for urgent health care. It raised questions about if he was medically fit, apparently, to serve in public office. He smoked approximately 3 packs of cigarettes per day for nearly 20 years.
And in fact, he had a heart transplant in 2014. Dick Cheney was 84 years old. In Illinois, a man from Winthrop Harbor arrested Monday for allegedly threatening to kill President Trump. A 57-year-old Trent Schneider is now in federal detention.
Opinion polling has been indicating strong support for Proposition 50.
And that's, of course, not what we wanted to do. Looks like, California voters are going to add a proposition to gerrymander voting maps to add more Democrats to Congress.
Opinion polling has been indicating strong support for Proposition 50, which even on the ballot says it's in direct response to Texas's efforts to redraw congressional districts in favor of Republicans. It would allow California to gerrymander and to counter Texas's move by adding an equal number of Democratic seats. So much money has come in to support Prop 50 that supporters are being told to stop donating, and organizers are sure it will pass. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Back to that threat against President Trump, ABC's Kate Coggeran reports.
According to a criminal complaint that was unsealed in court today, Schneider posted a video of himself on October 16th on Instagram where he said, in part, "I know where I can get a lot of expletive guns, and I'm going to take care of business myself." He goes on to say, "People need to expletive die, and people are going to die. Expletive all of you, especially you, Trump. You should be executed."
Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Tech stocks and health stocks driving markets in different directions. The Nasdaq gained just under 0.5%, and the S&P closed nearly 0.2% higher, boosted by rising tech stocks. Helping to push them along, news of Amazon's $38 billion deal with OpenAI, but sliding shares of United Health Group and Merck pushed the Dow to close down nearly 0.5%. The company behind Huggies and Kleenex is getting Tylenol. Kimberly-Clark has struck a nearly $49 billion deal to buy Kenvue. Along with Tylenol, Kenvue owns brands like Band-Aid and Listerine. Denny's is going private. The restaurant chain says it's being acquired by the same group that owns TGI Fridays in a deal worth $620 million. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Not looking good on the pre-markets this morning. Dow futures are down 318, NASDAQ futures down 321, S&P futures, they're minus 67. That's the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Got a 6-car pileup this morning on 65 northbound. This is in Brentwood. 3 left lanes are blocked off by it. It's at Concord Road, exit 71. Stop and go traffic from Moores Lane exit 69 to that point this morning. Again, that's a 6-car pileup. Got an accident involving a car versus a deer. This one's on I-840 eastbound past Paytonsville Trinity Road. That's exit 34. Been there for quite a while this morning. Slow down on 24 in the eastbound side as you're approaching Joelton this morning. On the westbound side, all through the area from Smyrna up to Nashville. And there are some minor delays on 40 as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. That sounds like a bad accident, Joan, on 65.
Yeah, it sure does.
So how many lanes are blocked? Is there three
left
people
lanes.
are hitting us up on the super text line?
3 left lanes, 65 northbound before Concord Road. 3 left lanes blocked off by it. They're saying up to 6 vehicles. I'm going to see if I can get a camera on that bad boy. And
yeah, I mean, that is the absolute wrong place for an accident to happen this time of the morning. So we'll have another update coming up at 6:15. But Joan, feel free to break in if we end up finding out more information on that, if they have to, close the roadway entirely and so forth. But
I am seeing on the cameras that traffic is getting around it on the right side. There's just one lane on the right side that's kind of squeaking around it. Mm-hmm. Very slow and very backed up this morning. It's dark, so I really can't see a whole lot. Just a lot of flashing lights, a lot of cars. And, of course, on the other side, on 65 southbound, brake lights everywhere. Of course, everybody's got to look at what's happening on the other side of the road. So,
you know what we call those?
Looky-loos.
Rubberneckers.
Rubberneckers,
looky-loos.
Yeah, all of that.
Frustrating people that, for whatever reason, need to slow down to look at the car crash or the train wreck, which is what's happening right now in Washington, D.C. So let's talk about the shutdown real quick. We're now at, day 35, right? So day 35, if we hit tomorrow, then it'll be day 36. John Thune from the Republicans in the Senate, majority leader in the Senate, he is out there saying that he predicts that they will actually come up with some sort of a solution or an agreement later on this week. I think we all are of the opinion here on Nashville's Morning News that ultimately we will end up setting the record, which is 36 days. That is going to be tomorrow. So we tied the record today. Tomorrow, it'll be 36 days. And we'll see when this whole thing wraps up. But, one of the things that I thought was interesting, what I believe is interesting as we look at all of this, is that, you do have some on the Republican side accusing the Republicans of lying about this whole thing. And so clearly, I don't believe that the Republicans are lying. But one of the things Republicans are saying, though, is that the media is on the side of the Democrats on this and are not pushing back on their lies. Well, there was one Democrat, her name is Janelle Bynum, where she was accusing the Republicans of having a poison pill in the clean CR, the continuing resolution. And so the anchor on C-SPAN actually asked her the question, okay, what exactly is the poison pill? And she can't name it. Listen to this.
Well, look, I just got here. I don't play politics. I want a clean bill that focuses on the American people, that makes sure kids have a full belly. And, all of the clean this, clean that. Americans don't understand that. They know if they have their benefits or not. So put a bill on the table, make sure it's very pure and clean, as they like to say, and it doesn't have a whole lot of fluff in it. I'm not here for games. I just want to make sure kids get fed.
So, number one, Janelle, it is not ultimately the taxpayer's job to feed children around the country when their parents can't do it. I mean, we will obviously step up and help feed the children. But ultimately, number one, just listening to her comments, it's almost like it is I don't like this concept of it takes a village. Yes, we'll step in when we need to. But there's a great meme out there today. And the meme is guy, checking his cell phone, and he says, America is the only nation in the world where, you can check your EBT benefits, your SNAP benefits on your $1,400 cell phone, right? I mean, that is ultimately what's going on. Nobody wants to see children go hungry. But the way that Janelle Bynum speaks, it's sort of like, okay, so it is America's responsibility to feed everybody's children across the world, across the country. My thing is, again, if the parents fall short, then we will obviously step up. But to talk about this like the parents have absolutely no responsibility at all in feeding their own children, I take exception to that. Parents do need to step up. If you're on EBT, if you're on SNAP benefits and you're not working, just think about how much money you could make if you go to Home Depot. You learn how to, fix air conditioners or, you name the skilled trade. They need them. And you can make a heck of a lot more money than you're making on SNAP benefits right now.
They did have a clean CR vote on September 19th in the House. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth, they've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it. So I disagree with your characterization.
All right, now listen close, right? Because the host on C-SPAN actually is trying to push her. Okay, Janelle, you are saying that there was a poison pill in the continuing resolution. What is that poison pill?
What were the poison pills of the clean CR or the continuing resolution? You say it's not clean, that was voted on in the House in mid-September.
What will she be able to come up with it? What is the continuing resolution? What was the poison pill in there? Because I'm telling you right now, friends, it was clean.
Here's what's important. I think what you're trying to do is shift the responsibility to Democrats. Speaker Johnson.
Nope. All the anchor was asking, you mentioned the poison pill. What was the poison pill? You said, Janelle, she is on C-SPAN. And I'm assuming that there were a whole bunch of other interviews that she did. And you would think that if there was a poison pill, I'm going to air quote this, a poison pill, she would actually be able to tell folks what that poison pill was. In other words, if you're going on TV, you better be able to back up your talking points with some truth. And clearly she had no truth.
Controls the House. He should come back, pull Republicans off of vacation, and make sure that we have discussions on what the country needs. We know children need to be fed. Anything else is passing the buck and is playing politics.
So there you go. Has no idea what this poison pill was. That's, again, this Janelle Bynum. The Senate has voted on this thing, I guess 14 times. I saw 13 times earlier today, but it's apparently 14 times. Democrats still refuse to allow SNAP recipients to get those benefits and fund the military and fund air traffic controllers. We had massive delays out of Texas last night, apparently, due to staffing levels. We had some issues here in Nashville as well. Now, of all people, Charlemagne, remember what I said earlier in the broadcast? I'm using this, by the way, as a joke. Whenever you've lost, whether it's Jake Tapper, whether you've lost Charlemagne, then you've lost America. It's kind of a joke on the whole thing. But Charlemagne actually now is coming out swinging against the Democrats on all of this. I've got that audio for you straight ahead. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, as far as your weather goes, it is going to be, let's see here, fog is going to burn off in the morning, partly sunny, high today of 68, feeling like 69. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so Charlemagne. Now, if you don't know who Charlemagne is, he is known as Charlemagne the God. I refuse to put the God behind his name. So Charlemagne,
Thank you.
Yes, Charlemagne is a hip-hop DJ out of New York, and he is syndicated. And they do talk about political stuff. And he is, I will give this to Charlemagne, is that he is willing to give it to the Democrats, kind of like Bill Maher, where he's willing to call out the Democrats if he feels like they are doing wrong. I've only got audio on this, but this is Charlemagne and what he said. I believe it was yesterday. Listen.
Democrats, you fought. It seemed like you lost the fight. At this point, go on, give it up. At least give the people some relief by getting the government back open. Let these people get these SNAP benefits. Let these government workers get their checks. We don't need all of this craziness at the TSA during the holidays. I think you lost.
We'll continue to watch.
I feel like they lost. It's over.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It depends on what you're fighting for.
Seems like a pride thing now.
Well, listen, if here's what I would say is that if you've got the unions, because remember, the unions came out and the unions said that Democrats, you've got to get this thing done. We've got to get back to work. There were 5 or 6 different unions, if I'm not mistaken, who came out and came out against the Democrats. And so Charlemagne himself. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene was on with Bill Maher the other day. People are saying that she is throwing Republicans under the bus. I don't know if she is or not, but she has kind of struck her own chord on the whole Obamacare thing. It is her contention that Republicans need to do more to try to fix it, and she's throwing Mike Johnson, House Speaker Mike Johnson, right under the bus. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene on with Bill Maher. And I'm going to also tell you, I'm incredibly surprised at how ignorant Bill Maher sounds on this whole thing. So this is Marjorie Taylor Greene on with Bill Maher, and Republicans are kind of mad at her. Listen.
That's been a lot of my angst. So a lot of the things I say are against my own party, but they're mainly my frustrations in Congress. I believe that Congress should be solving a lot of these problems. However, Congress is not solving these problems, and I have Republican leadership. Looking at Obamacare, it was passed in 2010. It went into place in 2014, and premiums have skyrocketed ever since. It was good for some that couldn't afford health insurance or couldn't get health insurance. But for the middle class, small business owners, people that had to buy their own insurance, it has crushed them. And so I've been demanding
Obamacare has crushed them?
I love how Bill Maher, did you hear that, Joan? I love how Bill Maher is just, really? Obamacare has crushed the middle class? Yeah, Bill.
Clearly, it doesn't affect him.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How out of touch can you be? It's very expensive. I mean, it does help the very poor. It does screw the middle class. I mean, that is just there is no disputing that fact. And so now Republicans have been trying to, I'm going to air quote this, repeal and replace Obamacare. They never got it done. Remember John McCain and the whole thumbs down back in, was it 2017? I think it was 2017.
Yeah.
That was all over the changes that Republicans voted for and passed in the House. But then you had John McCain, the senator. He wouldn't pass it in the Senate. And he just rolls in. Remember that whole thing? He rolls in and voted no, gave the thumbs down, siding with Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. But, Republicans have tried many, many times to repeal Obamacare, but the dysfunction in Congress, it just never happened. Now, this is where I bumped Trump a little bit. Trump has promised a replacement program for Obamacare forever, but it just never happened. The Republicans, this is what I will say. They have tried to change, repeal, replace Obamacare. They just can't seem to get on the same page. But, for me, so Marjorie Taylor Greene is right in that sense, but the Republicans have tried in the House of Representatives. They have voted dozens, and I mean dozens of times over the years to change Obamacare. Just, again, they could never get their crap together. But for Bill Maher to be surprised by all this, he clearly is just not paying attention.
Obamacare is what's hurt them?
Yeah. I'll tell you, for example, when Obamacare went into place, it took my own family of 5 health insurance policy from $800 a month to over $2,400 a month, more than our mortgage payment. And that's what so many people have experienced over all these years. But here's the big problem. is it's about to skyrocket in January of 2025. Here's why I'm angry. The Democrats passed Obamacare, but yet the Republicans have never done anything to correct the problems that exist with it. And I blame my own party. That's absolutely wrong. And I don't think it's an easy thing to fix. However, it's something that we should have a plan for. And Mike Johnson, for a month now, cannot give me a single policy idea. And I'm angry about that.
So there you go. She does throw Johnson under the bus. And he's trying to, Mike Johnson is trying to get this thing back on the tracks. And she goes into I would say, the enemy camp and launches a grenade against him. So the Republicans, sadly, they don't have a plan to repeal and replace. They've never been able to get that far because I think Obamacare at this point is just too entrenched. But they can try and fix it. And by the way, Donald Trump has said that. Donald Trump has literally said that I want to try to fix Obamacare. And he wants to try to fix it and frankly, make it better. So Maher then, because again, I'm dinging Bill Maher because he has absolutely no idea that Obamacare is so bad, right? So then he turns to a leftist podcaster named Michael Moynihan. And shockingly, he agrees with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Is this your understanding of Obamacare that it raises?
I have to first start by saying I didn't suspect that I would come on and say I agree with Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I do on that. I do on this issue because, the first thing is the prices are out of control. We're talking about these subsidies that were COVID-era subsidies. They were renewed, and the entire shutdown is based on these subsidies.
That is what the shutdown is based on.
That's what it's based on.
For people who don't know, let me just say, during COVID, they upped the subsidies, and then it is a bit of a bait and switch. I'll give you, it's true on that one. You can't say, it's not quite kosher to say, we're just doing this for the COVID emergency, and then when the emergency's over, say, oh no, it's forever.
They are temporary subsidies.
At least be honest about it.
Be honest about it. But the thing about it is that these subsidies, they don't do anything to lower costs. The only thing they do is mask costs, right?
See, that's what we've been saying all along. The problem is that I'm sorry. I don't know why I said COVID. The problem is that Obamacare is broken. That's the problem. These subsidies were put in during the COVID time frame. And so now that COVID obviously is over, it's time for those subsidies to go away. The point that the podcaster was making is that we have a problem in this country with Obamacare. It is broken. And ultimately what we're doing is we're sort of masking the symptoms of Obamacare, which is it's really expensive. And so to subsidize it, all we're doing is we're masking, the symptoms instead of taking care of the disease, frankly, which is Obamacare, that is incredibly broken. It is incredibly expensive. And it's great if you're, really, really poor. But if you're trying to buy it for yourself and your family and you're middle class, lower middle class, it is really expensive. That's why they need to go in. They need to do whatever they can do to try and fix it. But for the Republicans and the Democrats, if the Republicans go in and say, yeah, we want to try to fix Obamacare, then you have, of course, all of the insanity that ensues, where you've got all of these people that are out there and they're saying, oh, the Republicans are going to try to take away our health care, which is not actually the case. So anyway, I don't know. From Bill Maher to this Janelle Bynum and some of these other Democrats who can't even talk about or really express their problem with what the Republicans are trying to do. It's just talking points. It actually makes them look really bad. All right, it is 6:24, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. And Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan, what's coming up?
Yeah, pedestrian struck and killed by a train yesterday. Also, there's a recall of something that may be in your freezer. Those stories at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. And Dan Mandis here for Stoltz Co., a great Tennessee company. They do continue to grow and expand. Now, at Stoltz Co., they build pole barns, and these pole barns can be used as anything you want it to be used as. Look, a garage, an event space, an equestrian building, even barn dominiums. Now, you can live in these pole barns. Again, we do call those barn dominiums, And these days, when you go through Stoltz Co., these barn dominiums are new and improved. Now, Stoltz Co. is now offering you turnkey options. Now, what that means is that they're going to handle the design, the construction, and yes, the amazing finishing touches. You turn the key, friends, and you are home thanks to Stoltz Co. They also now offer storm shelters as well to keep you and your family safe. Now, your new pole barn from Stoltz Co., again, it can be used for anything. So if you've got some land that needs a building for whatever you want, call my friends at Stoltz Co. 615-622-5992, 615-622-5992. You can also find them on Instagram and Facebook to see examples of their incredible work around Middle Tennessee. STOLTZCO. It is StoltzCo.com. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate. Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate. Get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You're going to save time, make the most money, and yes, eliminate all the hassle as well. It is part of that guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, they are the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. That's right, 13,000 five-star reviews. You can trust my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate to sell your home fast for maximum profit and no hassle. That's the whole point with Mark Spain Real Estate. You know, the real estate market, let's be honest, real estate market has slowed down. So if you find your dream home, but it's contingent on you selling your current home, Mark Spain Real Estate, they can help you move into your dream home quicker. Now, they've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years. And Mark Spain Real Estate, they have served over 72,000 satisfied clients. So give them a call today. Mark Spain Real Estate, 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD, or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. This is markspain.com and start packing.
Good morning, now 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And just for drivers this morning on the northbound side of 65, they still got 3 left lanes blocked off by a couple of separate crashes in that area. It's just before Concord Road, exit 71. It's been there quite a while, and there is quite a backup. Even on the southbound side, there is a backup as well. We'll get into more of that in just a couple of moments. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died.
President Dick Cheney died Monday night at the age of 84. His family said in a statement it was due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Cheney served 2 terms as the vice president under President George W. Bush and was considered to be one of the most powerful VPs in U.S. history. He played a key role in forming the U.S. response to the September 11th attacks, wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. He worked for nearly 4 decades in Washington, serving as White House Chief of Staff under President Gerald Ford, representing Wyoming in the House of Representatives, and later serving as Defense Secretary under President George H.W. Bush. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Other news of the day, a pedestrian struck and killed by a train in Nashville yesterday. Police say this happened at the Bell Road overpass. The conductor telling police that the pedestrian was walking along the tracks with their back to the train. The horn sounded multiple times, but that person stayed on the tracks. Another delay for Kilmar Abrego Garcia's court dates. An Obama-appointed judge has now pushed a hearing back that was supposed to have started today. It's being pushed back until early December after Abrego Garcia's lawyers claim that the DOJ is holding up evidence sharing. In a separate ruling, another judge has given the okay to move the Maryland man back to a Nashville jail so he can attend his hearings for these human smuggling charges. A food recall affecting more than 12 states.
A listeria outbreak linked to recalled ready-to-eat pasta meals is growing, with at least 6 deaths now confirmed. The pasta products are from Nate's Fine Foods and were sold at Kroger, Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Albertsons in 18 states.
ABC's Mola Lengi. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
6:33, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN, Dan Matt is here for Contours. Listen, if you want to slim up for the holidays, get in touch with my friends at Contours. Right now, they are offering one of their famous Belly Buster specials for only $99. Now, that is a huge discount. So if you're one of the first 10 callers right now, 615-236-9960, a call right now, you are going to get that Belly Buster special for only $99. Now, if you don't know what a Belly Buster special is, one of the things I've been telling people to do is go to contoursllc.com and read all about it. And they've got videos, they've got photographs, and they've got an explainer as to what exactly these Belly Buster specials are. Taking advantage of red light technology. It is Contours red light technology. It is not only incredibly unique, but it is also effective. And yes, people have been coming from all across Middle Tennessee to check out Contours. And don't forget, $99 right now for the first 10 callers. A Belly Buster special. Call them. Again, right now, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. Let their red light technology help you today. ContoursLLC.com, 615-236-9960. Contours, all you've got to lose is inches.
Okay, it looks like 65 is going to be our redheaded stepchild today. 65 southbound in White House. Just before Bethel Road, exit 104, there's an accident. The left shoulder is blocked off, but it is jammed. Approaching that spot this morning, we're told that this accident involves 3 vehicles. Brentwood 65 northbound side before Concord Road, exit 71. They're on the right shoulder now. The right shoulder is blocked off. Couple of different crashes in that spot, and it's stop and go from exit 68 to exit 71. It's also jammed up on the other side of the roadway as folks are looking at it. 24 East in Antioch, a crash at Harding Place, and watch for some patchy fog. Couple of different spots this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.638, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, Joan, did you ever watch that that show Cops?
Oh.
Bad Boys, what you gonna do?
So my parents loved Cops, and it was one of those things, and it was in their retirement that they started watching it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spoke or if you wanted to have a conversation, you had to wait until the commercial was over. Until the commercial started.
Yeah.
Because they did not want for their cops to be interrupted. Oh, it was funny.
So we've got a guy coming on by the name of Randy Sutton in the 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
And he is one of the cops that was featured, if you will, on the show. So he was out there, busting heads and arresting bad guys.
Nice.
And he was one of the cops that was on the show all the time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I wasn't a big watcher of Cops. I mean, I've got enough train wreckery in my own life. I don't need to see other people's train wrecks.
Right.
But I love that Randy Sutton, he now has an organization. And I love the organization because it's called the Wounded Blue. And so what they do is they help police officers who have been injured on the job. And so he's going to be here in studio. And we're going to talk about, all kinds of law enforcement kind of stuff. And they've got a huge benefit that is coming up this week on November 5th. I guess that's tomorrow, isn't it? So a big benefit tomorrow. You know who's going to be there at this benefit?
Who?
Number one, my buddy Daryl Worley, Vince Gill, whole bunch of other folks as well. Chad Brock, Buddy Jewell is going to be there. And so it's all to benefit a night for the Wounded Blue. So I can't wait to talk Law and Order with Randy Sutton.
Nice.
On, of the show. I'm going to ask him, about cops and just how he felt about the controversy. Because you remember when cops first came on board, people said that it was, I don't know what, racist and controversial and all this.
Oh, yeah.
I never really understood all of that. It's like, guy, this is real life. And there were, black folks busted. There were white folks busted. They had white cops. They had black cops. They had Hispanic cops busting white people. So I didn't really understand the whole, it's racist. But, these days everything is racist. And back then, I don't even remember what day, what year cops started. Do you remember what year that was?
I don't. We could look it up and see.
I mean, it was a long time ago. And that thing has been a juggernaut. Is it still on the air? I don't even know.
I think it got resurrected. Yeah, it did.
March 11th, 1989.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Wow.
Okay. Well, anyway, I can't wait to speak to Randy Sutton about all things Law and Order coming, because there's, we haven't touched on it today, but yesterday we spoke about, the situation with ICE, where now you have these, these crazed lunatics that are out there, grabbing the genitalia of ICE officers. We talked about that. And so it's going to be a good conversation. Looking forward to that coming up after the news at 7. Shocking poll shows many Americans expect more political violence. I don't know why that's shocking, though. That's the headline. Shocking poll shows many Americans expect more political violence. I don't find that shocking at all. So we've heard the Democrats call this particular shutdown the Trump shutdown, the Trump-Johnson shutdown. We, as conservatives, have been accused of weaponizing or politicizing hunger and all of that stuff. Well, now, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is calling the Republicans, I want you to wait for it now, a pedophile protection program. That is what Hakeem Jeffries is calling the Republicans.
Well, the Trump administration and Mike Johnson are running a pedophile protection program. That's what they've been doing. And that's the reason why they refused to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. For weeks now, she was elected in late September decisively. And Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva still hasn't been sworn in because she'll become the 218th vote on an up or down piece of legislation that will require the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. And yet week after week after week have gone by and Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is unable to serve 800,000 plus people in the state of Arizona.
You know what's so funny about this audio bite, Joan? Is that I've got this on video. Is that I had to make, I think, at least 7 or 8 edits in here just to make it quick, because Hakeem Jeffries is always like trying to think of what he's supposed to say. You know, he's got that very halting kind of, phrasing that he does.
Because he wants to try to be like his hero Obama. Yeah.
So I had to edit this whole thing together just for I shaved like 15 seconds off of it, as a matter of fact, because people are like, why in the world are there so many edits in this? There's so many edits in it because he was failing to make a point in a timely manner. And the host is very impatient when it comes to things like that. Anyway, here's more from Hakeem.
All because of the pedophile protection program.
So that's right. So that's the new mantra. That's the new talking point. The pedophile protection program. So this is now what they're. Remember, I said that I think the Democrats are starting to panic. I think they're pulling out these crazy accusations or sayings, trying to brand. You try to brand your opponent, and so now the Republicans are the pedophile protection, whatever it is,
being run by Mike Johnson and House Republicans at the direction of their boss, Donald J. Trump.
Dun, dun, dun. Whatever.
Tried to have such a mic drop moment with the way he ended that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's silly. And now, number one, to put everything in context, this woman won a special election in the Tucson area of Arizona back in late September. Johnson has not sworn her in. He says he'll swear her in during regular session, which they are not in right now. As Jeffrey said, her signature would be, and this is true, would be the deciding vote on whether or not to force a House vote on a bill to release files related to the Epstein case. The Republicans, as you know, have said that they will release the files responsibly with the proper redactions to protect the victims and those falsely accused, but apparently that takes time. Now, just so we're clear, I want the Epstein files released. I've been honest about that, but I do want it done responsibly. So now you've got Hakeem Jeffries calling the Republicans the pedophile protection unit or whatever it was. Just very silly. But I think that you put what he is saying about Republicans, and you've got, all of the names that Republicans have been called over the past, 8-9 years, whatever it's been since Donald Trump started running the first time. We have audio of Nancy Pelosi. I'll play that here in a little bit, where Nancy Pelosi is out there saying, Donald Trump is a vile creature. I mean, I'm just starting to wonder if the Democrats, the harsher the criticism and the worse the names, does that show that the Democrats are really starting to panic even more? What were you going to say, Sam? I saw your mic was on.
You were, he's trying to make this whole, it's a pedophile protection ring thing. And obviously people do want the Epstein files released.
Yeah.
And I was getting into it with someone the other day about it. And people have severe memory loss when it comes to just a short term. It's District Judge Richard Berman was the last person who blocked the release of key grand jury materials, and he explicitly stated that it was not that the DOJ failed to overcome longstanding grand jury secrecy rules. So how are the Republicans protecting anybody in the pedophile circles? It sounds like a Clinton appointed judge is doing that on his own.
There you go. And the Democrats will say, well, if the House votes to demand the Justice Department release those files, but here's the thing, is that the Justice Department is under no mandate to release the files. They can simply say, well, we don't want to because of X, Y, and Z. So this whole thing is, for the Republicans, they want to release them in due time, as they say, responsibly. And so this is just another, I would say a talking point for the Democrats as they try to do everything they can do to distract the American people from the fact that they are keeping the government closed. We're late for traffic, 6:46. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be a nice day today. Fog is going to burn off this morning, partly sunny, and a high of 68. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So you have Hakeem Jeffries calling Republicans the pedophile protection unit or whatever it is. And now you've got Nancy Pelosi calling Donald Trump a vile creature. That's right, a vile creature. And the worst thing in the world today, listen.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth, but anyway.
The worst thing on the face of the earth. Now, I want you to think about all of the worst things on the face of this earth. You've got, Hitler. You've got Pol Pot. You've got drug lords, right? You've got the drug lords that want to kill the leaders of ICE, and of course they want them doxxed and all of that kind of thing. You've got child molesters, you've got murderers, you've got all of these really bad people that are out there. And yet Nancy Pelosi believes that Donald Trump is the worst thing on earth.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth, but anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah, I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives.
We had some fun with that earlier. What does it mean when Nancy Pelosi says that Donald Trump has abolished the House of Representatives? I have no idea what she means by that.
I think she means abolish their ability to launder money through the government into their own pockets.
Is that what it is?
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, you'll notice that Nancy Pelosi, she's going to be able to comfortably retire if she ends up retiring.
You think she'll spend her $400 million before she croaks? Because I doubt it.
I don't know. Well, I don't want to say what I'm going to say.
She's going to buy a freezer full of ice cream for her.
That's what she's going to do
after death. Yeah.
Moving right along. By the way, Nancy Pelosi, she's also wrong in the fact that the Supreme Court has actually ruled against Donald Trump several times. As a matter of fact, they ruled against Trump on using the Alien Enemies Act for deportations, the military transgender ban, and foreign aid funding cuts. And we got a big one in front of the Supreme Court this week, actually, with the tariffs. So the Supreme Court has actually, Nance, ruled against Donald Trump. So it is becoming clear that the Democrats may be panicking because their rhetoric does seem to be getting worse and worse. Pelosi calling Trump that vile creature, the worst thing on planet Earth, despite the fact that we've got child molesters and murderers and the drug cartels and the rest of them. There is a poll out that shows that a significant number of young Americans believe that there are cases where political violence is actually acceptable. That is according to a troubling survey released Monday by Politico. More than a third of Americans under the age of 45 agreed that political violence can be justified in certain cases. They took a look at the entirety of the American population where 24% believe that political violence is justified. They also claim that there was little partisan divide in the question, but did not release the details of the study. Do you really believe, here's my question, do you really believe that Republicans believe that political violence is okay? Now, I want to do an anonymous poll. Here, let's, Sam, let's do a quick Daily Dan poll. If you're a conservative, do you believe that political violence is ever justified? Now, we know that the Democrats talk about the assassination culture and all of that they have engaged in or approved of over the years. Remember that whole thing, assassination culture, where right after that, right, we saw the murder of the United Healthcare executive, Brian Thompson. You had Trump's assassination attempts. You, of course, did have the murder of Charlie Kirk. You had all of the threats against Elon Musk. So this polling is consistent with the left's assassination culture that we have talked about many times. So just an anonymous poll. Watch us on YouTube and find us there and take the Daily Dan poll, where the poll question is, Sam?
As a conservative, do you believe political violence is ever okay?
Or ever justified?
Yeah.
You could, either or. But yeah, it's an anonymous poll. Let me know what you think. You can also chime in on the super text line as well. 615-737-9986. 615-737-WWTN. It is 6:54 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan's got the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, Dan, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died, and we'll take a look back at how he thought about his job and how he approached doing his job as vice president. Also, the shutdown ties the longest ever today at 35 days. Those stories at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here for USS United Structural Systems. Now, I've been telling you for years about USS. They are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. This is a great company. They have helped me several times with my home. That is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. Remember, I was a customer before I was an endorser, and I am one of 30,000 satisfied customers. Listen to this recent review on Google. Guy says at USS they were highly professional. Their crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they were working on their own. And he does give United Structural Systems 5 stars all the way, and my family does too. United Structural Systems, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs, and you won't pay a dime until the work is done and you are a satisfied customer. And they can help you with basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, and yes, foundation repair as well. We guarantee our best. Call USS 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. How do I depend on Xfinity? Let me count the ways. I've got a lot riding on my rock-solid internet from Xfinity. Riker, of course, all that homework and all that gaming as well. Amy working all day long from home. And, of course, yes, yours truly, always prepping, always doing shows from my basement as well. And all of that, of course, courtesy of Xfinity. My career depends on my rock-solid internet from Xfinity. And, by the way, if something does go wrong, Xfinity can make it right with 24/7 customer service for whenever you need it. And, you know, with Riker in the house, he's 11, almost 12, is critical that we're able to check out what he is watching and doing online. And, yes, with Xfinity, you can. You can depend on these folks. So check them out today, online anytime at Xfinity.com, 1-800-XFINITY, or stop by a store today, Xfinity.com, 1-800-XFINITY, or stop by a store today. 6:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. We have a pretty good, Joan, we have a pretty good split.
You think?
On the whole political violence thing?
Yeah.
Because people are pointing out, Civil War was political violence. I would say, so we've changed the poll to political assassinations, because that's kind of like what we're dealing with in today's modern times.
Mm-hmm.
So, but a lot of people say, well, maybe we need to further define what political violence means. And there's a lot of people that say, yeah, political violence is acceptable sometimes. Other people say absolutely not. By the way, Rick has this to say. Hey, Dan, you do realize that we're driving. You focus more on YouTube listeners than you do radio, which is what brought you to the dance. So I want to, because I've heard other hosts receive the same criticism. We know that people are listening on the radio. We also know that there is a crap ton of people that are watching on YouTube and X and Facebook and 99.7 WTN.com, Twitch, Rumble, the whole thing. So the difficulty that we have as radio people is that we're trying to serve all of these different audiences. And you're absolutely right, Rick. And I appreciate you folks that are listening on the radio. It is what brought me to the dance, although I don't, dance very well. But if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on the radio, to me, it doesn't matter. It unfortunately is just a sign of the times that we live in, where we've got a lot of people watching on YouTube and all those other places, and a lot of people listening on the radio. I do my best to try to serve both. Anyway, it is 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, now 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. In a statement, his family saying that Cheney died last night due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Now, in a 2004 interview, Cheney described himself as merely a tool of the president that he served.
My job is to offer advice, which I do, to take on assignments, which he gives me, which I do. But I say I'm there specifically to serve him in any way I can, and not worry a lot about what my public image might be, or am I warm and fuzzy, or am I perceived as the tough guy. I really don't worry about that.
Cheney was 84 years old. Locally, the Evolved Weapons Detection System worked well yesterday. It detected a gun in the backpack of a student entering James Lawson High School. After getting that hit on the weapons security searched the 16-year-old's backpack, they found a stolen gun, ammo, and an extended magazine. This dad telling Channel 4 he's thankful for the new layer of security.
I'm happy that we are preventing school shootings from happening because we have these weapon detection systems. It does, to me, highlight an area that still needs to be focused on, which is what are we doing to reach our children, to get them to have a outlet besides ending up with violence.
The teen is charged with bringing a gun onto school property and juvenile weapon possession. An overnight barricade situation over now in Hopkinsville. Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
Police say the person threatened to hurt themselves and officers, locked himself inside of that house. Hopkinsville SWAT team and crisis negotiators were on the scene, and hours later were able to make it end.
The man was taken into custody. It's been more than a month since the government shut down. It's fast approaching the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Retired air traffic controller Colleen Connor thinks the nation's flying public are only going to get more frustrated as the government shutdown continues.
Air traffic operations are being slowed down purposely with ground delay programs, ground stops, and that's what's going to have to continue to stay in place until the shutdown ends.
She says there was a shortage of controllers before the the shutdown even began. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures dropping this morning after software company Palantir reported strong earnings, but traders are apparently concerned about the valuation of that company. We've got the Dow futures minus 269 now. NASDAQ futures falling 332. S&P futures down 64 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, it's still rough going on 65 this morning in the northbound lanes in Brentwood. They are still dealing with that multi-vehicle crash. In fact, there may be two of them. Northbound 65 just before Concord Road, exit 71. And then you've got 65 southbound side in the White House area before Bethel Road. 3 vehicles involved in an accident there. Now it's off to the left shoulder. That's near exit 104. Then you've got 40 westbound past the I-2440 east split there. Crash takes out the left lane. Berry Hill 65 northbound at Armory Drive, exit 79. Watch for what's been reported as a crash. And then eastbound on 40, right at the South Loop. Looks like there's another crash scene there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:05, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Loan Pronto. Listen, what if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? You can with my friends at Loan Pronto, because right now they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. Now, with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. Now, one client going through Loan Pronto just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off a couple of car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One phone call, life changed. Now, there's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Now, rates are at a 3-year low, so call them right now, 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780. Find them online, loanpronto.com, to get your free instant home appraisal. And see how much cash you can get today. 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, visit nmlsconsumeraccess.org. .707, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to the program. I'm so glad to have Randy Sutton here in studio. And you're in Nashville. You're out of Las Vegas. So just to set the table for who you are, everybody knows the TV show Cops. And you remain the most featured police officer on Cops.
Yeah, I was on a number of seasons, including, I'm going to date myself now, the first season, 1989 was when I was first featured on that show, and I was featured numerous times afterwards, including fairly recently, they did a special, and they brought some of us old guys back to.
No, they did not. Oh, that had to be so cool.
It was. In fact, what they did was, they found somebody that I had arrested and who had changed their life. And this guy came onto the show and said, if it weren't for the police and Randy Sutton, I would have died. I would have fallen to the drugs that I was doing.
Does that make? And I'm going to go off into a tangent, but does that make all of the crap you got as a police officer worth it when you've got that? I don't know. Is that a rare individual that says, thank you for arresting me because my life was out of control?
It actually happens a lot more often than you would think, because it was what they thought was the worst day of their life, and it actually changed their life. But there's a whole, the police job is still the most noble profession that I know of.
Absolutely.
And you can touch so many people's lives. Right now, just recently, I had lunch with a little girl. Well, she was a little girl when I saved her life when she was a month old. Now she's 28 years old. And her life is fantastic. And she was shot in the face in a drive-by shooting, and I was able to save her life when she was 1 month old. So it's things like that carry with you, and you understand the gravity of the police job because you can literally change lives.
And you are here, and I'm gonna get to this, but I want to let people know Randy Sutton is here for an event, Never Forgotten, Never Alone, a night for the Wounded Blue, and so you lead this organization that is you are here for police officers that have been injured in duty.
Injured and disabled in the line of duty, right? The Wounded Blue is the National Assistance and Support Organization for injured and disabled officers, and we are incredibly excited about being here in Nashville at this amazing country music event.
These names, Darryl Worley, everybody knows I love Darryl Worley, one of my favorite country artists. I got to interview him a couple of years ago. It was amazing. You've got Vince Gill, Buddy Jewell. You've just got some incredible names here. And clearly you've tapped into the greatness that is Nashville. And tickets are still available. It is tomorrow night. Talk a little bit about the event.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's at the Nashville Palace, which is a very cool venue.
Oh, we had an event at the Nashville Palace a while ago. It's a great venue.
It is. It's fantastic. And some of the other names, Mandy Barnett, Maggie Baugh, John Berry, Chad Brock, Sean Parr, and Megan Alexander are going to be hosting it. And it is tomorrow night. The doors open at 5:30. And the tickets are $45 at the door, or $40 if you order them today. Mm-hmm. And you can either go to thewoundedblue.org to do that, or you can go to thefamousnashvillepalace.com and get your tickets. But don't wait, because I mean you can't. Where are you going to see Vince Gill, Darryl Worley, Mark Wills for $40 and be able to support an incredible cause?
Well, and if this is a conservative audience, you're from Las Vegas, but. This is a very conservative audience, and this is the right place to come for support with the police. We talk about law enforcement a lot on this show. I want to go back to cops real quick. Mm-hmm. So when you were in that first season, you were the most featured officer. Can you run through how that actually works? Like when cops started, it was like a huge thing. Yeah. It was like a phenomenon. And did you realize at the time how incredibly, number one, how popular it would be, but also controversial?
No, I didn't. When they first came to Las Vegas Metro Police, I was a patrol officer at the time. And what they did, the way they chose somebody, they would always work swing shift, because that's the action shift. And they would go to a sergeant and they say, who's the guy that's going to get in the stuff? I'm going to be polite. That's going to get in the stuff.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get? Where's that guy?
They need some action.
That's right. So I was one of those officers chosen, and they got some great stories. And so as a result of getting a whole bunch of great stories during the first season, when they came back 5 or 6 years later, I was a sergeant, and they did it again. Now, a lot of people think that is scripted. It is not. They throw a cameraman and a sound man in your police car, and they just go wherever you go, and they see it all. In fact, one of the camera people was actually shot and killed during the filming of one of the shows.
No kidding.
Yeah, in fact, we have supported cops, and they're a huge supporter of the Wounded Blue.
Sure.
So they've been a huge supporter of us since the beginning, and so that relationship continues. But there is nothing scripted about that. They whatever happens. They film it. One time they actually had to jump in because I was in a real knockdown, drag out fight, which could have wound up in a very bad situation.
So you say the
camera
cameraman
crew, the camera
no
crew.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And when they approached you about that, I'm just curious. When they approached you about that, were you hesitant to participate in this? I'm assuming you had a choice whether or not you wanted cameras following you while you're on patrol.
No, I didn't, and I'll tell you why. Because I recognized right then, I had already been a cop for 10 years before I went to Las Vegas. I was a cop in Princeton, New Jersey. And then I was bored to death because it was a small town. And I wanted action, so I changed over and went to Vegas.
Okay.
Where I wasn't bored, I can assure you.
Yes.
And but what I did recognize is that there has always been a confusion about what the police job really does. And so I recognized the power of what the cops show could do for law enforcement. In fact, it wound up being our best recruiting tool. I wound up having people work for me that saw me on Cops and joined the Las Vegas Police Department because of it.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Wow. It is a shame how the police are treated these days. I think back when you first started as a police officer in what year?
Well, I'm really going back now. 1976 is when I first became a cop
1970.
in New
I want
Jersey.
to drink what you're drinking because, I mean, I'm not going to say, I don't know how to say this. You don't look that old.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Only my hairdresser knows for sure.
All right, so we got to take a quick break of traffic, and we'll return. Randy Sutton joining us here in studio. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather for today, fog is going to burn off this morning. Is there still fog outside, Randy? Still some fog outside, partly sunny. High of 68, feeling like 69. Do you ever watch the old Cops that feature, you in the first couple of seasons?
Believe it or not, I have never seen my own shows.
What? That is crazy. You've never.
I've seen one or two because I use. I'm a national speaker on law enforcement topics.
Oh, you've been on Fox News. You've been on Newsmax. I mean, you've been everywhere.
Did you ever see the movie Casino?
Yes.
I was in that too.
Were you really?
I played a cop named Randy.
Imagine that.
I know.
So Casino was
Robert De Niro and Sharon Stone.
Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone as well. Did you get to? Were you in a scene?
I had a very good scene with him.
Did you really?
Yeah. In fact, we did an ad lib scene. Robert De Niro and I. It was pretty cool.
Okay, I wish I could play that. Were you nervous? Like, I'm going to go toe-to-toe with Robert De Niro.
I actually was not. And this is before he went crazy. He was actually a gentleman.
No kidding.
Yeah, and Sharon Stone was not a gentleman. But that's another story.
Yes.
But yeah, that was cool. And then I did another movie called Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry and Salma Hayek.
Yep. That's the one nobody saw.
That is one nobody saw.
Yes,
but I had a great part. My part was being a police officer delivering Salma Hayek's baby on the bridge at Hoover Dam, so I can legitimately say I was.
Oh wow!
I better not say it.
No, let's. So Vince Gill is going to be at this event tomorrow night. This is a great event. Talk about number one. We're talking about when you started as an officer back in 1976. Fast forward to 2025. We all on this radio station absolutely support the police, but why do you think that there's been such a disrespecting of police from certain segments of our society?
Okay, so there's a book sitting in front of you right now called Rescuing 911, The Fight for America's Safety.
Written by some guy named Lieutenant Randy Sutton.
That's right. And this is actually my fifth book. This is a very important work because it really describes just the question that you just asked me.
Yep.
Is there? It's a very nuanced question, but really what it comes down to is some of the greatest lies that have ever been perpetuated on the American public were foisted upon them, like the great lie of Ferguson, hands up, don't shoot.
I kid you not. So when Randy gave me the book, I opened it up, and the first thing I opened to was page 22, The Great Lie of Ferguson, hands up, don't shoot, complete and utter BS. But
Correct.
the officer's career was destroyed.
He's still in hiding.
Yeah, he's still in hiding. I'm ashamed to say I don't remember his name. I bet you remember his name.
Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about his name because he wants to stay completely anonymous now.
Yes,
but
that's true.
but here's how the weird situation, the way that our lives have kind of coalesced. The Wounded Blue. Just a month ago, I was visiting a Ferguson police officer who was severely injured in the line of duty. On the anniversary of Michael Brown's death, there was a protest. He was one of the officers at the protest and was attacked. And when he was attacked, he suffered a traumatic brain injury, which has destroyed his life. And the Wounded Blue, I visited him in his rehab facility where they are trying to bring him back to a sense of normalcy. And the Wounded Blue, we have actually given his family $5,000 a month for a year to help them deal with this situation. And we gave him the Order of the Blue Heart Award, which is the Purple Heart for the police. This just happened. So the history of policing, still continues today, and the ramifications of the great lie of Ferguson continue to this day. Because of that, this officer, who's got 2 children, was severely injured in the line of duty because of that great lie.
So there are officers, and of course, obviously, I'm going to Captain Obvious moment there, but I want to define what the Wounded Blue does. So an officer gets injured, line of duty, and then you help to supplement their income for how long? The rest of their lives? How does that work?
We're not generally a funding resource. What we are is we're a peer support group. Every one of the people in my organization is a police officer or was a police officer who has been injured in the line of duty. We have officers who've been shot, stabbed, beaten, run over. I have officers who've been blinded, officers who are in wheelchairs, and yet they continue to serve. They are the heroes of the Wounded Blue, because even though they have been so severely injured, they still give back. Yeah. And the way they do that is they provide peer support for other officers who have been injured, because once you get severely injured in the line of duty, either physically or emotionally and psychologically, you don't know what the future is going to bring. And we help them navigate that horrendous situation.
Well, so if you have a police officer that is injured in the line of duty, a number of things are going on. Number one, you've got the psychological trauma.
Correct.
You've got the physical trauma.
Yes.
And you've got the concern with, how am I going to support my family?
100%. And you would be absolutely shocked at the way many police agencies and cities treat their officers once they become injured. I can tell you horror stories. Right now, we're dealing with an officer who was shot with an AR-15. She is hit in the hip, and the round bounced into her abdomen and just did terrible damage to her. She can't go back to work, right? Because she was so severely injured. She just told me yesterday she's getting terminated from the department with no pension because she can't go back to work full duty. Well, of course she can't go back to work full duty. She was shot, and yet they are going to throw her away.
How can the police departments justify that?
This is shocking. This is the greatest unknown secret of law enforcement. And that is, depending on where you are, if you're in New York City and you get severely injured in the line of duty, you're going to be okay. They're going to give you a good pension. You're going to get medical. But if you are in, say, Oklahoma, we have an officer who was shot in the head in Oklahoma. I have this on video. Shot in the head by cartel gunmen. He's severely injured. This is during a pursuit. Then after he got hit with an AR-15 round in the forehead, he, of course, went unconscious, and then he crashed in a tree. He had a wife, 3 children. They didn't pay his medical bills for a year and a half. He lost his house. He lost his car. And it wasn't until a news station did an expose on it that suddenly they paid his bills. But at the end of the day, they threw him away. They didn't even give him the proper medical treatment. And we fight this every single day. This is what the Wounded Blue does.
That is horrifying. We
It's shocking.
We criticize the left for disrespecting police, but oh my Lord. I mean, you've got to call out the police agencies who don't protect or take care of their own after they get injured in the line of duty.
And you know what? That makes me a very unpopular person sometimes.
I bet it does. But if you expose it, then perhaps they'll think twice about, as you say, throwing away their officers that are injured trying to protect the people.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking what we see. And that's why this event is so important.
Yeah.
Because these country artists, by the way, who have supported the Wounded Blue for years in different ways, this is where the people and the police have to come together.
Yeah.
And these country artists that are all volunteering their time for this event, this is where we need the people to come and say, you know what, we're going to support law enforcement. I'm going to come to this concert. I'm going to see some of my favorite country stars, and then we're going to donate to the Wounded Blue. We're actually kicking off what we're calling our 9/11 campaign. We're asking people across America to donate $9.11 a month.
Okay.
All right. That's not even a coffee and a donut. And of course, I'm using that that for a particular reason.
Yes.
But $9.11 a month to the Wounded Blue. And we get enough people to do that, we can help so many more people because we are only limited by the resources that we have.
Yeah.
And that's where, unfortunately, and by the way, everybody in my organization is a volunteer except we have one paid employee. I don't take a salary. I live on my pension. Okay. And by the way, what I do now is more important than anything I've ever done. And I was disabled in the line of duty. I had a stroke in my police car right on the Las Vegas Boulevard, and my own department threw me away.
Wow.
They just said, we're not paying your medical bills and we're not giving you your benefits.
And they
After
wonder
24 years.
And they wonder, I know why we have shortages of police officers, but certainly this doesn't help.
It doesn't help. And listen, I was a cop for 34 years when this happened, and I never thought this could possibly actually take place. And yet, so this is one of the things that is we are so passionate about helping our brothers and sisters. Any officers who are listening to this right now, if you're struggling because of a physical injury or because of post-traumatic stress, reach out to us at thewoundedblue.org. That's who we are. That's where we never forgotten, never alone is a meaningful phrase for us.
Oh, absolutely. And so the event is tomorrow night. Never forgotten, never alone. A night for the Wounded Blue. Our guest is Randy Sutton. And again, you've got some of the greatest names in country music. Vince Gill, obviously, Daryl Worley. You've got Mark Wills, and you've got Buddy Jewell, and a whole bunch of folks. And hosted by my old buddy Sean Parr.
Yeah.
So, who's great. I love Sean Parr as well. So, good luck. TheWoundedBlue.org is the website. People can get tickets there. It is tomorrow night at the Nashville Palace.
And doors open at 5:30. We're going to have some great opening acts. And by the way, there's going to be a surprise or two that we weren't allowed to put their names, but they're going to be showing up too. So there's going to be some surprises that show up. And also, we're going to be honoring 3 officers who have been severely injured in the line of duty, two Louisville officers and a Chattanooga officer.
Okay. This is going to be a great event.
It's going to be a great event. I hope you're going to be there.
I'm going to try. TheWoundedBlue.org is the website, TheWoundedBlue.org. And will you check in with me tomorrow and let me know how ticket sales are going?
I sure will.
And we can, we can see if we can drive the ticket sales because this is such a great event. Randy, thank you very much for joining us here on Nashville's Morning News, and I hope to talk to you again soon. It is 7:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 728 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Window Nation. Listen, it's going to get cold. It's going to get really cold. And you want that cold air to stay out of your home and the warm air in. My friends at Window Nation can help with replacement windows. Now, I've got 4 in my home, and I've got a couple in my basement studio. I love Window Nation. Now, right now, they've got a great deal going on through this month. 50% off all window styles and 0% interest financing for 5 years. My friends, that is huge, and that's why so many people across Middle Tennessee are calling this phone number, and you should too for replacement windows. This is a huge upgrade from my friends at Window Nation. 866-90-NATION is the phone number. 866-90-NATION. The website is windownation.com. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So take advantage. Don't forget that great deal right now. Window Nation's end-of-year sale going on through this month. 50% off all window styles and 0% interest financing for 5 years. Great windows, replacement windows for your home. 866-90-NATION, windownation.com.
Good morning, now 7:32. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A Nashville judge is deciding whether to pause the National Guard deployment in Memphis. The lawsuit brought by Shelby County Mayor claims that Governor Bill Lee's surge of troops there violates a state law and the Constitution. But government lawyers argued that the troops are saving lives.
Memphians are dying and injured by criminals at a higher rate than anywhere in the country. That's serious, and they need relief urgently.
No decision yet, but that judge in the case says she will make the decision soon. In South Nashville, a mother and child are recovering today after being hit by a car while walking to school yesterday. This happened at Tusculum Road and Hasty Drive about 8 o'clock. They were on their way to McMurray Middle School. Now, this neighbor tells Channel 4 she could see something like this happening.
They walking down the street on the wrong side of the street without sidewalks. And I'd be like, that's so dangerous. Why don't they just get on the sidewalk? But I don't know what could be done about that.
The mom and child are expected to be okay. The driver will not be charged in this case. Police say the incident was an accident. New information about 2 city employees who were abruptly fired last week from Mount Juliet's IT department. WSMV4's Jeremy Finley got his hands on the personnel files for IT Director Travis Taylor and IT Tech River Johnson.
According to their personnel files, the investigation was launched after an anonymous crime tip came in that Johnson partnered with his supervisor, Taylor, in a, quote, scheme to sell old city-used cell phones for personal profit, and that both men had been involved in, quote, inappropriate sexual relationships during work hours on city property.
Now, the pair had also been disciplined for several violations, including sexual harassment. Taylor and Johnson are being investigated by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
So, Joan, I can't, I live in Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to your story.
Yes.
So they wanted to raise the property taxes in like Mount Juliet by a lot of money. Who knew there was so much money in just selling old cell phones? They could have used that money instead.
It would have been easier.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the whole fornication in the office thing, whatever's going on there, tisk tisk.
It's a very salacious story.
We frown upon those things in Wilson County. I'm just letting people know. Anyway, thank you, Joan. 7:35.
Wouldn't know that by the news, Dan.
7:35 on Nashville's Morning News. I love my two-way store, the Glock store, because they're always looking for ways to help you out with great deals. And they've got them coming up on Black Friday. Now, everyone knows that Black Friday is a great time for deals. And the Glock store is going to have a massive two-way themed party with a ton of great deals and food trucks as well. Some live music and a ton of giveaways. Now, that's right. The Glock store, they're famous for those giveaways and their parties, and you can expect a lot of that on Black Friday. We had the Vortex Day a couple of weekends ago. The Glock store gave away over $10,000 worth of merchandise. It was huge. And this one, on Black Friday, it's going to be even better. Now, you can call it a celebration. I call it a can't-miss event. Now, you can pick up gifts for the two-way enthusiast in your life for Christmas or stuff for yourself. That is the Black Friday celebration at the one and only Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Black Friday. Details as they come together. Glockstore.com, shoot270.com.
Now a lot of jammed up traffic on the roads. 24 westbound, there's a crash in Antioch at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Another one at Briley Parkway South. The 2 right lanes are blocked off there. If you're traveling in on, on 40 in the westbound side, right before Elm Hill Pike overpass, there's an accident that takes off the left shoulder. It is jammed up on 40 heading westbound from Mount Juliet into the city this morning. You've also got big delays on 65. Even though they've moved that accident, the multi-vehicle accident, off to the shoulder on 65 around the Cool Springs area, still pretty jammed up this morning. It's going to take you a while to get in. And then on 65 heading southbound, traveling in this morning, again, it's a situation where any accidents have been moved away. It looks like heavy volume, and it's just jammed up traveling in on 65 from the north this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Joan, I'm not going to give the time.
That's a good idea, Dan.
Yeah, I'm not going to give the time.
Way off clock.
Let's just move right along. But listen, that was a great, I loved talking to
terrific
our
conversation.
guest, Randy Sutton. And we're going to isolate that. I know. Sam is laughing at me. How soon do I forget the guy's name?
What's the guy's name?
Randy Sutton is his name. And you know what? He looks like a Randy Sutton. He looks like a bad A. And that is going to be a great event tomorrow night. We're going to podcast that interview that I just did with him. And again, that foundation, thewoundedblue.org, if you want to check that out. And I'll talk about that again here in a little bit. Right now, though, we've got Matthew Hurt on the phone. Matthew, how are you? It's a big day today in your neck of the woods of Virginia.
Dan, I can't believe I put pants on for this radio interview today, but I am super excited. I've been up since about 2 a.m. your time, and we're rocking and rolling out here in Arlington, deep blue Arlington, Virginia. How are you?
Well, you know, at least one of us is wearing pants. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. So the joke is that we were supposed to have Matthew on Zoom today, but unfortunately we were unable to do it because of some technical issues here in the studio. But next time we will have you on Zoom. Did you, by the way, speaking of which, did you see, this is going to be a squirrel moment. There was a guy who was in a court of law, and I think it was, I want to say it was a cop or something, but he wasn't wearing any pants. It was on Zoom, and he didn't realize that they would be able to see that he wasn't wearing pants. He thought the Zoom camera would just capture, from the waist up. Turns out the judge called him out and said, "You don't have any pants on." So just know that.
This happened in Detroit. Look, you got to make sure that your camera's pointed in the right direction. And this is something. Senator Rand Paul is one of my favorite senators in Washington, and he is not well known for his dress ability. And he will often do, late night TV in a suit top and like cargo shorts, which is awful, but he's great in the Senate. But yeah, make sure that your camera is pointing, just on your face. And I've got a great live hit studio, and I was so ready for this, Dan. But it is exciting because Republicans are pumped up in Arlington and across Northern Virginia. The polls are open for about another 10 hours, and the statewide races, 3 statewide races, and then in a place like Arlington, where I'm the chairman, we can barely get candidates to run as Republicans at the local level. I know the Davidson County Republican Party has that issue, and probably out in Memphis. But we've got 4 out of 5 down ballot races with reasonable, well-adjusted candidates, and there's a lot of energy here. And I think that people are really wising up to what I said this earlier on Fox News. We could go from common sense to California in one election, and I think that voters are seeing that today.
So I don't know, Joan, if you caught what just happened. But Matthew wanted to make sure that I knew that I was not the biggest interview of his day. He's been on Fox News. He's also, I believe, been on Newsmax today. So I appreciate you slumming it with us here on Nashville's morning news. What about the governor's race in Virginia? Winsome Sears versus Spanberger. What's going on?
I've said this a couple of times in conversations with you, and by the way, this is my favorite Cumulus station. I think that there is, when you look at the list of likely voters, the universe of likely voters, I just don't think we're hitting all of the likely voters in the polls. I do think this is going to be closer. It is going to be tough for Winsome Earl-Sears to pull it out tonight. I think Jason Miyares, our candidate for Attorney General, is going to do a lot better, and I honestly think the poll I saw yesterday in the lieutenant governor's race between a woman who's running a Joe Biden from the basement campaign and John Reed, our Republican candidate, who has raised almost no money, he was 2 points up. And so I don't like making electoral predictions because I hate being wrong. But all three of these races, I think, are going to be within a handful of points. And that means it's so important for our voters to get out. And as the chairman of the most blue county in Virginia, I've done, and my committee has done so much work. We've mailed 65,000 pieces of mail, 75,000 text messages, thousands of doors, and the energy and enthusiasm is high. I don't like making predictions, but I will predict on this program today that this statewide ticket will do better in Arlington than Glenn Youngkin did in 2021. He got about 21,500 votes, and we're shooting for about 25,000 in Arlington, which would be a big deal.
How big of a deal? Real quick, I gotta take a look at traffic. We got a lot of stuff going on in traffic, so I'm gonna check traffic real quick. But then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about continue to talk about what's going on in Virginia. But then you're gonna get a lot of people out there that are gonna say, oh well, the Democrats won this, the Democrats won that. So that is an indicator as to what is going to happen in the midterm elections. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. Matthew Hurt joining us. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, the fog is going to burn off at some point today. It's going to be partly sunny and a high of 68. All right, so, Matthew, let's say the Democrats win some races, which obviously they're going to. You win some, you lose some. So is this really much of an indicator at all as far as what's going to happen in the midterm elections?
Not at all, and this is something that grinds my gears because what's going to happen in California is the voters are going to vote to allow Governor Newsom to redraw the lines. Of course, a handful of Republican states are already doing it. What will happen, though, is we currently have a 5 Republican, 6 Democrat seat split among the congressional districts in Virginia. And if Democrats go back with a majority in the House of Delegates and a Governor, Abigail Spanberger, we're looking at something closer to 10 Democrats to 1. They have completely upended the redistricting process, which voters by an overwhelming majority a few years ago handed off to a nonpartisan redistricting commission. And so of all the states that are doing this redistricting shell game, California is doing it. I think it's an okay process because that's what they allow. All the other Republican states that are doing it, it's an okay process, but it is really crossing the Rubicon in Virginia, and I think that could put the House in a precarious position in the midterm elections. I don't think that any of these races today play out or contribute to a national narrative for leftists or progressives or Democrats, but I do think that what happens in Virginia may very well have an outcome in 1 or 2 key races that decide the majority in the House next year.
So in New York, you've got Mamdani, Cuomo, Sliwa. Now, I've been looking at the polling. I'm sure you have as well. I don't have them in front of me, but if you add up the Cuomo-Sliwa vote, it is higher than the Mamdani vote. So is Curtis Sliwa going to have to get an escort out of New York if Mamdani ends up winning? Because if Sliwa, there's a lot of pressure for him to drop out as mayor of New York, and that Sliwa vote theoretically would go to Cuomo, and Cuomo would have then perhaps beaten Mamdani. I mean, so there are a lot of people that are saying Sliwa will be responsible for the destruction of New York. Is that fair?
You're not wrong, Dan. I hate this game because we do live in a two-party, first-past-the-post, winner-take-all system. And so if there is a third candidate, an independent in some instances, or in this case in New York City, a Republican, it makes it mathematically more difficult to defeat somebody like a Mamdani. But Sliwa has decades of community activism experience. I really struggle. I know President Trump and Elon Musk endorsed Cuomo, but many of your listeners will remember that Cuomo is directly responsible for the deaths of countless thousands of grandmas and grandpas when he locked down New York in the pandemic. It is a tough decision. If you're a Republican and you're planning to vote for Sliwa, it is hard for you to switch tracks and vote for somebody that you blamed, rightfully so, for so many failures of the pandemic. I cannot imagine what it would feel like to be a Republican in New York City today.
You think Mamdani is going to destroy New York? Do you think, they've got, I don't know the politics of New York, but I'm assuming in New York, you've got a sort of city council kind of a thing that they have to deal with, and obviously you've got a state legislature. Kathy Hochul has said, no, I'm not going to allow I'm not going to raise taxes to help Mamdani do what he wants to do. I mean, how much destruction can one man do if he doesn't have the support of the governor of that state? I don't know about the New York City Council, but I'm sure that's also part of the equation.
A lot of the promises he has made will rely heavily on what happens in Albany, the state capital, or in Washington, D.C. A lot of the money that flows through New York City comes from the state or comes from the federal government. Now imagine somebody like Donald Trump in the White House refusing to provide federal grants and money for building projects, for road projects, for construction projects in a place like New York City. That would augment the decline of New York City under a socialist mayor. And I would say, if I had to bet or I had to guess, I would say probably 60 to 70% of large amounts of money come from either the state capital appropriations process or from D.C. And so it would be very difficult for Mamdani to keep his promises because somebody like President Trump or somebody like the governor of New York would hold back those resources. I think that is the silver lining for New Yorkers. But that said, I think the city council is going to rubber stamp most of the things that he wants to do.
Wow. All right, real quick, Nancy Pelosi said this on CNN.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah. I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives.
Well, so first of all, I don't know what she means by abolishing the House of Representatives. Have I missed something? Was there like a great abolishment of the House of Representatives? That's number one. Number two, strong words for Nancy Pelosi. Donald Trump is the worst thing on the face of the earth. Matthew, don't worry about drug cartels, child molesters, murderers, Hitler, Joseph Stalin. Don't worry. It's Donald Trump that is the worst thing on the face of the earth.
Dan, you and I both know Nancy Pelosi is a lizard person, and surprise news after the election, I think she's going to retire. So she's on the way out. She's going to burn everything down, and this is absolutely outrageous. No reasonable person outside of San Francisco and maybe inside the Beltway, the No Kings people who live among me, believe this, and it is such a backwards view. Nancy Pelosi, since she's been in Congress, has enriched herself by tens of millions of dollars. She had ruled the House of Representatives with an iron fist a couple of times. The subversion of democracy she would know something about because she's been front and center for a long time in Washington. This is absolutely just outrageous.
One of the things, and it's part of the headlines this morning, I covered this a little bit earlier, where they do show that you got a lot of people out there that would say that that political violence is acceptable under certain conditions, I suppose. They don't get into the details on it. But, I mean, remember when the Democrats and that poll came out about assassination culture and the Democrats? Now you have, a decent number of people within the Democrat Party that also believe that political violence is okay. Then you've got, of course, Hakeem Jeffries talked about how Donald Trump and the Republicans, the pedophile protection ring is what they called Donald Trump and the Republicans, like Mike Johnson. I mean, this vitriol and this rhetoric is just getting worse and worse.
It is very dangerous, and the data doesn't lie. This is not a both sides issue. This is almost wholly a Democrat issue. Majority, or at least a plurality of Democrats think it is okay for political violence against their political adversaries. We're seeing it play out in the Virginia election, in the Attorney General's race with Jay Jones text messages. This is not a bug. It is a feature of Democratic Party politics, and it is very dangerous. I hope. When I was chairman of the Young Republicans in Arlington, I had a great relationship with the chairman of the Young Democrats. We did joint fundraising events, joint community service events, and I don't think this was only 10 years ago. I don't think we are anywhere close to that, and I think it is 100%. Our friends in the Democrat Party are willing to dehumanize, demonize, call Republicans Nazis, call Donald Trump Hitler, every name in the book, and that leads to political violence. And it is very worrisome for a chairman in a county where 79% of my neighbors vote for the Democrats.
All right. Well, you know what? Fingers crossed for what's going on in not only Virginia, but the referendum in California, New Jersey. By the way, somebody sent me a text on the super text line saying that they've had some bomb threats in New Jersey. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know I haven't heard anything about that, and I wouldn't want to speculate. I do know there's a tremendous opportunity for Chitterelli to cross the finish line tonight.
All right, Matthew Hurt, always great to have you on, and we will talk to you again very soon. Maybe if you have time, we'll have you back tomorrow to do some, post-game analysis with you, and we'll try to do it on Zoom. And you can put your pants on once again. All right, it is 7:55 on Nashville's Morning News.
Yeah, I've got the story about the bomb threats in New Jersey.
Oh, do you, Joan?
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good.
The shenanigans. It's all begun already.
Hijinx and shenanigans.
You betcha.
Okay.
It's coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you, Joan. It is 7:56, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I want to tell you about my friends at the Generator Supercenter. This is a great company, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you know that the weather in Middle Tennessee can get crazy, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. They are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. Get a free quote and get peace of mind when you have one installed. The Generator Supercenter does feature expert installation, 24-hour monitoring as well. They're not going to leave you in the dark, and yes, financing is available. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952. Find them online anytime at GeneratorSupercenterofNashville.com. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. GeneratorSupercenterofNashville.com.
It is 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories in the news. This morning, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. A statement from his family saying that he died last night due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. His health issues weren't a secret. Fox News' Ainsley Earhart on Cheney this morning.
He did have a long history of cardiovascular disease. According to this article I'm reading, they said that he had a periodic need for urgent health care. It raised questions about if he was medically fit, apparently, to serve in public office. He smoked approximately 3 packs of cigarettes per day for nearly 20 years.
Cheney also had a heart transplant in 2012. Dick Cheney was 84. In Illinois, a man from Winthrop Harbor arrested Monday for allegedly threatening to kill President Trump. According to officials, 57-year-old Trent Schneider is in federal detention.
According to a criminal complaint that was unsealed in court today, Schneider posted a video of himself on October 16th on Instagram where he said, in part, "I know where I can get a lot of expletive guns, and I'm going to take care of business myself." He goes on to say, "People need to expletive die, and people are going to die. Expletive all of you, especially you, Trump. You should be executed."
That's ABC's Kate.
Who was that? Who are they talking about?
The man who threatened Trump's life. His name is Trent Schneider. He's 57 years old from Illinois. Illinois, you know, where J.B. Pritzker calls President Trump a Nazi.
Sure. Sure.
That's reporter there is Kate Kogirin from ABC.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like California voters are going to okay that proposition that would gerrymander voting maps to add more Democrats to Congress.
Opinion polling has been indicating strong support for Proposition 50, which even on the ballot says it's in direct response to Texas's efforts to redraw congressional districts in favor of Republicans. It would allow California to gerrymander and to counter Texas's move by adding an equal number of Democratic seats. So much money has come in to support Prop 50 that supporters are being told to stop donating, and organizers are sure it will pass. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And just as voters are heading to the polls in several states today, the Center for Internet Security warning about rising domestic tensions, saying that those protecting the political process should be on high alert. And to that end, Fox News' Mark Meredith is in New Jersey reporting that there have been bomb threats at polling places all across the state this morning.
The polls have been open throughout New Jersey since about 6 a.m. Since then, a handful of bomb threats have been called in to a number of polling places across the Garden State. It's unclear exactly how many of these polling places have been impacted, but because the polls were open, since they've been open since 6, a number of people who may have been in line or getting ready to go vote were had to move off-site to other voting locations, at least temporarily.
And as we're learning, it's 7 polling places that have been threatened with bombs. Republican Jack Ciattarelli there is attempting again to flip the state red. He's up against Democrat Mikey Sherrill for the governor's job. Also reporting this morning from Scott Pressler says that in 3 red districts in one county, in Cumberland County, the machines are down this morning.
Wow.
Machines
down, are they? In Republican districts?
In Republican districts.
That's Scott Pressler. He's doing God's work.
He really is.
Man.
And he doesn't get enough. I think he doesn't get enough credit.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've interviewed him a couple of times. He is outstanding.
He is.
And I know that a lot of people were calling for the Trump administration to give him some sort of a role within his administration. But to be honest with you, I think he's doing such incredible work out in the field, getting the Republican vote out. I love that.
Yeah, I don't think he could be replaced. So leave him alone. Let him do his thing.
That's exactly
Just support
right.
him. Yeah. So that's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
All right, Joan, thank you. 8:04, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, Joan, I think at 8:35.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest because I don't like to BS people. Y'all know that I'm honest. I feel like there is a war brewing here at WTN.
Oh.
I do. I feel like there's a war that is brewing at WTN. I'm going to get into it at 8:35 with Chris Hand.
That's what you call a professional tease right there.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
It's very few things I could do professionally, but that's sometimes one of them. By the way, people are commenting on the death. Nope, I'm not laughing at the death of Dick Cheney.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
No, I'm not. I realized
know you're not, but
inappropriate laughter.
Terrible.
Thanks, Joan.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at what people are saying about the fact that dude smoked like 3 packs a day.
Yeah.
And he lived to be 84. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Where it's like you got some people like George Burns and Dick Cheney who smoke forever or smoked forever. and they live to be in their 80s. And then you got people that have never smoked and they come down with, whatever horrific disease, and they end up, dying in their 50s.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I knew a guy one time. This is completely off the subject. I knew a guy one time who had a truck, 200,000 miles, never changed the oil in the car. Never.
What?
Yeah, 200,000 miles. And I mean, he may have been BSing me, but I don't know why he would lie about such a thing. He knew to check the oil and put oil in. But when he finally changed the oil, the thing broke down. It's the craziest story ever. Anyway, 8:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here for Brentwood Jewelry. Now, listen, if you've got a special occasion coming up and you need a special gift, my friends at Brentwood Jewelry, this is your place to go. So for the lady in your life, you've got your necklaces, bracelets, rings, and earrings. For the men, money clips and cufflinks as well. And they've got watches for everyone and every budget. Now, if you've got a family heirloom, maybe it's an old watch that needs repair, maybe it is a ring that needs to be reset, Brentwood Jewelry, they can do it for you. They've got great merchandise, terrific pricing, and prices for every single budget, including yours. Now, this is a family-owned business. They've been in Middle Tennessee for over 50 years. Brentwood Jewelry is the official jewelry store of my house, and they are here to help you. 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. Find them online. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Still pretty slow on most of the roads. In White House, 65 south before Bethel Road. The accident there is off to the left shoulder, and there's a lot of backed up traffic behind it. That's reportedly a 3-vehicle accident. You still have plenty of delays, too, on 24 heading to the eastbound side this morning. Now, westbound on 24, I'm not seeing any accidents, but I sure am seeing a big backup from Smyrna all the way into Nashville. Same thing on 65 north all the way through Franklin and Brentwood this morning. It is very slow. You've got an accident in Lacassas on Lacassas Pike west of Bradley Creek Road, and still some patchy fog this morning to deal with. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good Lord. 8:10, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. CNN is like almost wall-to-wall coverage on the death of Dick Cheney.
It's their hero.
You know what? We talked about it earlier. What will conservatives remember Dick Cheney for? Weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Right?
Including his shotgun.
Including his shotgun. Not funny. We're not laughing at anything regarding the death of Dick Cheney. That's not what we do here at Nashville's Morning News. But you know what? When somebody of political prominence dies, then the only thing that you can do is talk about what they'll be remembered by. And Dick Cheney, a Republican, of course, vice president, he, in his infinite wisdom, decided to endorse Kamala Harris instead of Donald Trump in Trump's second run for the White House. So, I mean, that's what I know him for. And shooting somebody in the head, in the face.
Would you say that would make him an establishment shill?
I think what it does is it really personifies the difference between the current state of the Republican Party and somebody like, Donald Trump and the MAGA movement and Dick Cheney. I think that, that really tells you the difference between those two, because Dick Cheney, I mean, I don't want to get in the whole Dick Cheney thing, but when he decided that he was going to support Kamala Harris, it was like, all right, you know what? You do you, man. You do you. But clearly, I mean, one of the last things that he did was really stick a middle finger to the Republican Party. And it was a middle finger to MAGA. And there's a lot of people who listen to this radio station who are MAGA. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't see MAGA as something that is derogatory, but somebody like Dick Cheney did, and he supported Kamala Harris. So one of the last things that he ever did was stick his middle finger at, his political party. And he clearly doesn't like or didn't like the direction of the Republican Party. Well, that's fine. But, I mean, sometimes you've just got to think, wow, really, is that what I want my legacy to be as a longtime Republican and a former vice president? He was a heartbeat away. Dick Cheney was a heartbeat away from the presidency. And then he decides to go ahead and support the Democrats in a presidential election. That is insanity, but that's what he did. So I'm sorry I can't sit here and just, extol the virtues of Dick Cheney's political career. I don't want death on anyone, obviously, and I would never celebrate anyone's death. Absolutely not. That's what the difference is. That's the big difference between Democrats and Republicans. I don't wish death on anybody. I don't celebrate death. I don't celebrate violence. The Democrats do. But boy, they're honoring Dick Cheney on CNN. There's a lot going on today.
I don't know why it made me want to look at his net worth.
Dick Cheney? Oh, wait, let me guess. Hold on, let me guess. Joan.
Yeah.
Let's guess what Dick Cheney's net worth is. Hold on.
All right.
So I believe that Dick Cheney was probably worth about $212 million.
I'm going to go 500.
Wow. Joan's going 5.
500
okay.
mil.
All right. What was Dick Cheney's net worth?
So the last time we had it tracked was in 2012. It was $32 million. However, recent estimates by CelebrityNetwork.com placed his wealth at much higher, approximately $150 million, making him one of the richest vice presidents in American history.
There you go. I win, Joan.
Na, 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 na.
Neener. Anyway, so there you go. So Dick Cheney dead at the age of 84.
You won Matthew Hurt's pants.
All right. Hey, you want to play a game?
Are we going to do fun with audio?
We can call it fun with audio. We can call it Poor Michelle Obama.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Just stop it already, Michelle Obama.
I know.
So she is out there is she trying to gin up like some sympathy? Is that what Michelle Obama is trying to do?
She's always kind of cried, oh, nobody loved me.
Oh, give it a rest.
Yeah.
Come on, Michelle.
So she's on with Gayle King, and this is what she had to say.
You said we were all too aware that as a first black couple, we couldn't afford any missteps. Yeah. And you also say, as a black woman, I was under a particularly white hot glare. Did you feel
you think that white is kind of a double entendre thing there?
Oh, yeah.
Just try, because that's what they do, man. They make everything, the Obamas make everything about race.
About race. Yep.
And what I don't understand is, let me finish the whole thing. Hold on.
You said we were all too aware that as a first black couple, we couldn't afford any missteps. Yeah. And you also say, as a black woman, I was under a particularly white hot glare. Did you feel that?
For sure. You can't afford to get anything wrong because you didn't get at least until the country came to know us, we didn't get the grace that I think some other families have gotten.
You said we were.
All right, so that is, and by the way, I'm told that is not Gayle King. Who is that? That interviewer?
It may be her brother. I mean, she's often on this show with her brother, so.
No. Who is the interviewer? It's an ABC News person. I don't know who that is.
Okay, I thought
I
that
said it was Gayle King, but apparently it's not Gayle King.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, I get them all mixed up.
It sounds like a guy.
I don't know who it is, but I was going to completely detest what Michelle Obama said there.
Here's what I don't get, is that Barack Obama was 2 times. He was voted into the presidency with an adoring public. I mean, it was like Camelot all over again, right? And so here's the deal. I would say to Michelle Obama, then you can talk. But people don't hate Obamacare because Barack Obama was black. They hate Obamacare because it's too damn expensive, and it was forced upon the American people and had a lot, and still does, have a lot of negative impacts on the American people. And so, Michelle, that has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has everything to do with the policies that your husband brought into our government.
That was Robin Roberts.
Robin Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what white hot microscope she thought she was under. When I was in middle school, 7th grade, he was elected president in his first term. The entire school, granted I went to a historically black school at the time, stopped everything. All classes stopped, and we watched the entirety of the inauguration from class to class. We were, when Obama was being sworn in, we were told to stand up and put our hands over our hearts and do the whole nine. And as a kid, I was left with a sense of, wow, this is a really important day for our country and for our history. And it was in a lot of ways because, we got to see how typically Democrats are trying to screw people over.
Do you remember, Joan, when El Rushbo said, I hope that he fails?
Yes, I do.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And so it was like the wrath of all of the media. Rush Limbaugh, oh, my gosh, he says that he hopes that Barack Obama fails. What a racist. And
can you believe he would say that?
I remember sitting in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. I hope that he fails, too, because he's got very bad ideas for America. And I think it was John McCain who said something about, and I don't remember what the exact quote is, but something about how he wishes him all the best of luck and all that kind of stuff. And I remember thinking, why would he say that?
Yeah.
And John McCain was always...
Because he considered himself the maverick.
Oh.
Remember?
Whatever.
He was the maverick.
But there's nothing wrong with what Rush Limbaugh said because, I mean, look at what Barack Obama did, for example, to health care, right? So he had bad ideas. Barack Obama had bad ideas, and it, again, has nothing to do with skin color. But remember this, I would also say to Michelle Obama, is that it was Barack Obama himself who brought race into things that, frankly, he should have stayed out of. Remember the controversy? I had to look this up. I had to remember that there was the Harvard professor who got arrested. He was trying to break into like his own house because he was locked out. Cops were called by a neighbor, and they arrested this Harvard professor for literally breaking into his own home. So, the police realized they're wrong. They dropped the charges. But then Barack Obama comes out where he mentions that police have a long history of stopping African Americans and Latinos disproportionately. So he is the one that brought race into a lot of things where, frankly, it didn't need to go. And he's the one that did that.
Do you remember he said that the Cambridge police acted stupidly?
Yes, I remember that too. The Cambridge police acted stupidly. Then he said with Trayvon Martin, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Yeah.
Fanning the flames of the Trayvon Martin case as well. So I love how, she's like, oh, victims of racism and all this BS. Yeah. No, you are the ones that kept bringing in race over and over again when, frankly, it did not apply. So it's the Obamas that are the ones that keep bringing up race. And by the way, again, He was elected twice. So spare me, Michelle Obama. Good Lord. We didn't do traffic. I'm sorry. 8:15, time to check the road. 8:20, time to check the roads on WTN. Eight 21, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN fog is going to burn off. Hey, Mason, is it still foggy out there? It's still foggy at 8:21? Good Lord, man. Okay.
It's always foggy in the host chair.
At least until 9. Then, of course, Chris Hand comes in. And by the way, coming up, the brewing war, Joan, the brewing war that is happening at WTN. And Chris and I are going to talk about it coming up at 8:35.
If he gets here.
Is he going to be late? This war is going to escalate if he's going to be late. I'm just kidding. Traffic is backed up on 24?
It is. He's not here yet.
Okay. Well, how bad can it be? Because Mason's actually here on time. All right, moving right along.
Beautiful.
What about Whoopigate? Did you see what happened with Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah, so what was that? I started to watch that video and I couldn't get to the point at which she did whatever. What did she do wrong? What did she say wrong?
I don't know. See, I don't know what she did wrong. So I've got the audio. We're going to go ahead and play it. This is audio. This is Whoopi Goldberg, and apparently she was told to correct the issue immediately. Here is Whoopi Goldberg on The View.
The Trump family has made about $1.8 billion profited off of this government. And he said that Joe Biden didn't know who he was pardoning using an auto pen. How come he don't know who this guy is?
Because he used an auto pen. The meetings that they're supposed to go to when they're listening to, what the hell, what?
Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg made the claim that Donald Trump was using auto pen, I guess, to pardon people. That was the joke. It wasn't a joke. I mean, it didn't look. If you see Whoopi Goldberg, she said it's stone cold face, the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, like resting Whoopi face. So apparently that got everybody upset. And so I forget her name. Sunny Hostin?
Yeah.
Sunny sends a note to Whoopi Goldberg, and basically, because Sunny's a lawyer, right? So Sunny writes a note to Whoopi Goldberg and triggers Whoopi because it's like, no. You've got to clarify that Donald Trump did not use AutoPen to pardon this particular person. And I haven't kept up with the whole who he pardoned, whatever. So
the meetings that they're supposed to go to when they're listening to,
so
what
the note has been given.
I love when Sonny passes notes.
We don't know if Trump used an auto pen to pardon. It was a joke.
Yes. We don't know if Trump used an auto pen.
Oh, come on.
But we do know that he didn't know who that crypto guy was.
Well, I'm sorry.
So Whoopi is now ripping up the note from, what's her name?
Sunny Hostin.
Yes.
So the issue was that if you remember the founder of Binance, CZ Zhao.
Okay.
President Trump, he pardoned him. So they're saying that what they're saying is that he used the auto pen to pardon him, but he didn't. So that's why.
So the reason why they're saying that he used an auto pen, and I apologize if I'm shanking the story, but the reason why they're saying that Trump may have used an auto pen, air quoting, is because Trump said he didn't really know that he was had at some point, I guess, done business or something with this guy.
Yeah.
Is that the accusation?
Yeah, Binance is the world's largest crypto exchange. And so literally she said the Trump family has made about $1.8 billion, profited off of this government, and said that Joe Biden didn't know who he was pardoning using an auto pen. How come you don't know this guy, who this guy is?
What I'm so confused about, the Democrats need to make up their mind. Because remember, Joan, when they used to always say that Donald Trump is not a millionaire or billionaire and he's flat broke?
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
Well, which is it? Is he flat broke, or did he make $1.8 billion working with this guy from BitDance or whatever it is? Is it BitDance, ByteDance, whatever? What is it, Joan?
It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. And
Clearly, I
after-
haven't paid attention to this story.
So
I
after
don't care.
Sonny Hostin said that, Whoopi Goldberg said, "Oh, that's because he used an auto pen," and
Yes.
that's why Sonny Hostin said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Like
We got it. Yeah, lawyers, come on. Hold on. Here's the rest of it.
You know, the hardest thing about this job now is no one understands nuance.
Oh my goodness. No, that's what Whoopi Goldberg is.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, you know that when she said about Donald Trump using an auto pen, that she said it with, again, resting Whoopi face. There's no joke involved there. And Sonny, being the lawyer, is telling her, watch what you say, because we may have to end up paying a lot more money to Donald Trump.
You know when you hear a joke, when somebody's fooling around, when they're not saying something specific, especially on this show. I'm very specific when I'm pointing stuff out. When I'm making jokes, you know when I'm making jokes. This is ridiculous.
Hold on.
There you go.
Do you remember when President Trump was joking on the podium and said, "Hey, go find those votes. Everybody, go find those 33,000 votes," was it?
The 33,000 emails.
Emails. Go find those 33,000
I think it was, "Hey,
emails.
Russians, if you're listening, find the
That's it.
33,000," it is Hillary Clinton's server,
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah, but that was not a joke. I mean, they actually.
Yeah, that was Donald Trump being tongue-in-cheek and all that kind of stuff. But, Whoopi
they
Goldberg is saying
launched
that
an
she was.
investigation of him.
Yep. Oh, the whole thing.
Yep.
Launched the investigation, destroyed, parts of his presidency, tried to, all right, I got to go because Mason's getting mad. It is 8:27. Real quick, Joan, what's coming up in the news?
Well, a pedestrian had been struck and killed by a train yesterday, and also a recall of something that may be in your freezer. We'll check it out next at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Did I do it fast enough?
No, you know what? I just thought of a joke about something that is in the freezer. And I just started laughing about something Bill Clinton might say about something in the freezer because his wife is Hillary. Do you get what I'm saying?
I got it.
Okay, good. 8:27, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They are serving a big savings and, yes, big gratitude. Now, if you've got a clogged drain, don't wait because they've got a $93 special. Get our $93 or free mainline opening special. That is, again, only $93. It's an offer valid for single-family homes only. It is important to do this, by the way, heading into the holidays and really cold season. And right now, only $93. That is big-time savings courtesy of Busy Bee. And by the way, they are, of course, honoring our heroes as they do. One veteran will win a 50-gallon water heater with expansion and installation. Just send them a photo in uniform to enter. Winner is going to be announced on Veterans Day, November 11th. If you're feeling festive, submit your favorite Thanksgiving recipe, and you could win $2,000 off a new HVAC install. The runner-up, by the way, is going to get $1,000 off. Winner is going to be announced on Facebook Live November 21st. Now, remember, if you've got a clogged drain, don't wait. Get their $93 or free mainline opening special. That's right, only $93. Again, offer valid for single-family homes only. Call them 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Online anytime, BusyBeeHVAC.com. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, where comfort meets care.
Good morning. Now 8:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. His family saying he died last night after complications from pneumonia, heart, and vascular problems. Cheney was 84. 7 New Jersey polling places have received bomb threats this morning, forcing the evacuation of those buildings and causing voters to take shelter. New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin, however, saying just moments ago that the emailed threats have been deemed not credible. A pedestrian was struck and killed by a train in Nashville yesterday. Police are saying this happened at the Bell Road overpass. The conductor telling police that the pedestrian had been walking along the tracks with their back to the train. The horn sounded multiple times, but that person stayed on the tracks. A food recall affecting more than 12 states.
Outbreak linked to recalled ready-to-eat pasta meals is growing, with at least 6 deaths now confirmed. The pasta products are from Nate's Fine Foods and were sold at Kroger, Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Albertsons in 18 states.
ABC's Mola Lengi reporting. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Looks like investors may be worried over the valuations of software and AI companies. Palantir in particular, the Dow Jones Industrial starting off here 386 points lower. NASDAQ is down 354. We've got the S&P 500 index starting off 76 points lower. That is the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:33, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. Right now, they've got a great deal for you to help you feel better. $12 for comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. It is their November special. It does continue. So listen, if you've got back and neck pain like I did when I first got here, if you've got back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, they can help you with their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. They can help you. No surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, they helped me a lot. Dr. Kevin Mitchell, they can help you as well. And don't forget that great special, $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Okay, 840 westbound, a stalled out vehicle blocks out the right lane this morning. It's at New Nashville Highway, exit 55. Got an accident out at the airport on Murfreesboro Pike at Donaldson Pike. 65 heading north in the Franklin area. There is an accident right past Murfreesboro Road, exit 65. Another accident on 24 westbound. This is in Laverne past Waldron Road, exit 64. And they're also saying that there's an accident on 24 westbound further up at the Antioch Pike overpass. The right shoulder is blocked off by that one. If you're traveling 65 south in the Portland area, past Portland Highway, watch for an accident. And 840 westbound past Central Pike in Lebanon. There's an accident right there at exit 72. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 836, Dan Mandis here with a great way to increase the value of your home. How about a bathroom update from my friends at Zintex? Now, this is a great company, and they've got a great deal just for listeners to my show. How about converting your bathtub into a walk-in shower? Now, Zintex can do that for you and for listeners to my show. You can get $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years. Whatever works best for you. Now, Zintex, they've won awards for ethics from the Better Business Bureau. And last year, they were voted one of the best places to work in the construction industry. And by the way, happy employees mean great customer service. Now, remember that great deal. You can get $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years, all the while upgrading your home, whichever works best for you. By the way, you mentioned WTN. And yes, you get a free Kohler toilet with your purchase. Find them online, Zintex, Zintex.com, Zintex, Zintex.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming...
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson. I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
I mean, Joan, I don't know why you can't stay on time today.
It's all my fault, Dan.
And then we had
Totally.
to like delayed this segment while Chris got here. So then,
it's my fault.
We've all been waiting for Chris.
It's my fault.
He walked in and he said,
Chris, I don't think Dan's taking responsibility well.
Listen, Chris walked in.
Mm-hmm.
True or false, Chris?
I did walk in. That's true.
You walked in and you said, hold on for a few minutes. I've got to go to the bathroom.
No.
And so we had to put this segment off.
That's fake news.
It's not fake news.
That's fake news. I said, do we have time for me to run to the bathroom? Because I would have held it. I would have sat here like Gavin Newsom with my legs crossed if I needed to, Dan.
But would you have used your hands to talk and do all kinds of mime things that he does when he talks to people?
He is. He's like a mime.
He's weird. Sorry.
I think he's, and they were focusing on, hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So I noticed that online, they were focusing on Gavin Newsom's shoes. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now, there's no context to this whatsoever, but I noticed that, he's doing his whole, as Joe just said, his miming thing.
He looks like, to me, like a sneaker pastor. We've all seen the sneaker pastors, the guys that really make a lot of money doing the pastoring.
Yeah.
And they wear the really, really fancy Air Jordans.
Well, they'll wear he was wearing Air Jordans, and so you've got the...
And he had his jeans on. He looked like a sneaker pastor. That was my big issue.
Well, some of the people, like, with the whole sneaker thing, because I've actually noticed this on, like, football broadcasts or whatever, they'll have a suit on, but then they wear the really expensive sneakers. And I've never really understood that look. But, I mean, Amy says it's what all the younger people are doing these days is you dress all highfalutin and then you put on your Air Jordans, which, to me, that just looks dumb.
We've been doing that for years.
Have they?
Yeah.
You ever had a pair of Air Jordans?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah, dude.
I haven't.
We gotta step your game up.
How about no?
You wouldn't wear Air Jordans? Republicans buy shoes too, Dan.
How much is your average pair of Air Jordans?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't afford them.
He works in radio.
I was going to say.
How are you?
I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I've been working in radio a lot longer than you, which means I'm broker than you.
It's true.
Fact check true.
Fact check
right?
true. Dude, last night I was up until we were at the baseball field until 10:30
at night.
At night.
Wow.
We were in. So we have. Let me. I don't want to bury the lead. We have the championship Little League game tonight.
Ooh.
Oh snap! Do
so
you
last
really?
night was the semifinals. Brooks was playing catcher. He's on the Mariners, and it was like the 18-inning L.A. Dodgers Toronto Blue Jays game.
No kidding.
This game kept going. We thought we were going to lose like 3 or 4 times. The kids didn't give up, and then they kept battling. And then we go into extra innings. The kids played 7 innings of baseball, 7:30 to 10:30. And it got down to the wire to the point where they were putting a runner at second and starting the inning with an out because of how late into the game we got.
Wow.
There was a high school game going on the field next to us that ended before us. These are 8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
So did they stay in it? Were they like up for it, or did?
Oh, they were in
nobody
it.
Snoozing on the field?
No, ma'am.
No.
They were locked in. We were so impressed with those boys.
So
the game had everything. Parents were getting thrown out.
Really?
Wow.
It was bananas.
So were you coaching one of the bases?
No, I was shouting from the stands.
Okay, so you got kicked out?
Well,
Chris, did you get kicked out?
You got that booming voice thing going for you.
I did not get kicked out.
Okay. Then you got to step it up for tonight.
I do. I shout words of encouragement. Don't worry, ump, you'll get the next one.
You really do that?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
As a former umpire, that would totally get me.
I don't. I'm very kind. I encourage the kids.
So was Brooks, was he inspired by wanting to play like the Toronto Blue Jays because that's where his dad is from, Canada?
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I think it's a legit question.
He played 7 innings at catcher, my son.
That's a lot of innings at catcher for how old is he?
8.
8. He's 8 years old.
He's 8, and he's a beast.
Oh my goodness!
I was so impressed with him. He hit 3 times, got on base twice.
Okay.
But the whole team was just rocking.
Did you you've taught him how to lean into the pitch and get hit by a pitch?
That was one of my final lessons to him.
Now I'm understanding why you're not a coach.
He didn't take the advice.
He didn't take the advice.
I even walked up to the coach at one point, and I was like, hey, you should walk this kid.
Seriously? Oh my! You are one of those guys.
I'm one of those guys.
You are one of those guys.
Like this kid on the A's that was playing first base was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Just just a
Have they, like,
4'2" monster.
Really? Are you
Yeah.
checking birth certificates and the whole thing? It sounds like you need to.
I was watching them walk in. I was making sure none of them had tattoos or mustaches. But it was awesome. We got the championship game tonight. Go Mariners.
So, go Mariners. Absolutely. Murphy Show and I got kicked off of YouTube yesterday for the same reason. We played, I believe it was the Saturday Night Live bit that, because I woke up this morning and I saw Matt had posted on either, I think it was Facebook or whatever it was. And he said, "Why didn't Dan warn me?" And it's like,
Think about how salty SNL is and NBC is. You do something funny for the first time in years.
Yes.
And then people want to celebrate it and highlight it.
We're drawing attention to the fact that they were actually funny.
And then you get removed from YouTube for it. I saw that happen to you, and me and Mason,
I know,
we made the executive decision to not air the clip because
not only that, but you celebrated my removal from YouTube. I heard about that.
We weren't necessarily celebrating.
Oh, yes, you were. I heard about it from people.
There might have been a few high fives.
Yeah, celebrating's the wrong way to describe that.
It's a competition.
It was. By the way, it wasn't high fives. You and Mason were doing high tens.
That's true.
That's what you were doing.
And we jumped up after and bumped bellies.
Did you?
We had a freeze frame at the end. It was so cool.
Mason had a big Y on his belly, and you had a big T on yours, and you're doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing?
YT.
YouTube.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying white.
We got to.
I thought that's what you were going for. I was like, what?
No. We've got a brewing war that is going on here behind the scenes at Super Talk 99.7. I do feel like it needs to be addressed.
And it's not a host war.
It's not a host war. It is a war between radio listeners and YouTube or Facebook watchers.
But Facebook watchers are the same as the YouTube viewers.
Yeah, just Super Talk TV viewers.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're watching the radio show or you're listening on the radio.
Yep.
Now, because I got like attacked.
Did you?
Earlier in the broadcast by several people that said I was selling out to the YouTube people. And, focus on what brought you to the dance.
Oh.
I would like to stay in the dance at least for a few more years. And so I try really hard to serve both radio and YouTube. And I love all of you. I do. But I don't know.
I would say, though, since we've launched the YouTube stuff, the radio audience hasn't missed out on anything.
No.
There's just an added benefit to being able to see the video of the clips that we're playing.
Right. But like if you say, and I'm probably guilty of this, I've heard other people say, look at that, without describing what they're looking at for the radio people. So I need to be cognizant of, and it wasn't you, I need to be cognizant of the fact that there are people that are listening and people that are watching. But we have to do this. Like people seem a little sore that we're promoting the YouTube and not the radio listening. We promote listening of all avenues.
Plus, it's 2025, and I mean, we love radio. That's why we're here. But if we don't keep up with the times, then we're going to get left behind.
Right.
Got to roll with the punches.
We have to continue to build on what we've already, the foundation that's been laid here for us.
Yeah.
For years and years by guys like Phil Valentine and everybody that came before him and guys like you. We have to be able to build on that foundation to grow the radio station. Like that's important.
And to me, it is also, this is what I don't, 0505 definitely sold out to YouTube. No, I didn't.
Wow.
Whatever.
Are they mad that it's YouTube in particular? Because I've had people mad that we're not focusing more on Rumble. But Rumble is such a janky platform.
Rumble, it's hard with Rumble. I can't buy a follower on Rumble. I finally gave up. I went through about a month-long period. I was putting really good conservative videos up. Could not get any traction on Rumble whatsoever. And when you look at our numbers, I think we got pretty much equal parts, I think, Facebook and YouTube, I think. But YouTube.
And Rumble's such a janky platform. Like, I love it. I love it for the free speech. But then we'll go, how long did we go without Rumble? It was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And
we had no idea. There was no rhyme or reason why the Rumble page wasn't working. And then all of a sudden it started working again. Yeah. Like, oh, we're back. It's so weird. And then to search for 99.7 WTN on Rumble is also janky. I get that people are still mad at YouTube. But you have to fish where the fish are.
Sandra says, some of us don't have time to sit and watch radio, Dan. I'm not saying you need to sit and watch radio. I mean...
But here's the nice thing about YouTube. You can watch it in your free time. It's always there.
That's exactly right. I get off the air at, 9, and by the time I go to bed at like 5 or 6, the viewership has gone up throughout the day. Matt Murphy gets off at 7. His viewership continues on into the night. People can go and watch segments in the past. I think it's like that with all of us.
We've had people that have said to me, at least, and they probably said it to you, it's like, oh, I got home and rewatched that because I wanted to see the video. I wanted to
see what in the world was going on in the studio when this happened.
Sally's mad, though, because I've played videos during the commercial breaks exclusively for the YouTube audience.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times.
What do you have to say for yourself, Chris?
It's an added benefit. Added benefit, and I don't have to edit the videos. We go completely uncensored during and I've done it like once with the EBT videos.
Yeah, that's funny.
And we get to play it uncensored.
Yeah.
Then it was 3 hours of continuous content that day.
Yeah.
Like, you can be mad at me, but I'm going the distance.
This is something, friends, that we have to do. We have to do it. The company has told us to do it. And just to let you folks know, what we are doing here at WTN is widely considered to be, and Chris, you are the leader on this, playing video on our radio shows. And so there's not a lot of folks in radio that are doing that right now. And so, part of this is to keep our corporate overlords off of our back. And but also we like to be cutting edge here.
I mean, I don't, and the corporate overlord part, it doesn't weigh in too much to what we're decision-making process.
No.
We just kind of are reading the tea leaves.
Yes.
And while we're ahead of, this is also the funny part. While we're ahead of the curve when it comes to other conservative radio stations, we're behind the curve when it comes to every YouTube show that's out there.
Right. And all we want to do is get better at doing the YouTube thing, which is why, we're so thrilled. I think next year, you YouTube haters are going to hate this, but we're going to get all new equipment in here.
We have to do it.
Yeah.
The message hasn't changed. It's just the delivery method.
Right. And Chris, you and I both know that the people of Middle Tennessee were clamoring to see what I look like.
This is true. People.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm just
here listening. You all right over there, Joan?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
People love to see Dan.
Yeah.
They really don't. You know who the eye candy is on this show? It's Joan.
It's
Joan
Mason
is
at the moment.
Nope. Nope.
Whatever. You show your commercials on YouTube.
That's one of the biggest downfalls that we have on YouTube right now is the long hold screen in between the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
That goes to the company overlords.
Yep.
They say if you're not paying for them, you don't get them. So
yeah, which I think is dumb. But
I agree. Give me some noise.
Yeah, I'd love like a little music or like what Chris and I are doing. We play shorts in between during the commercial breaks just to kind of break up the silence.
9925 has a great point. And this was my big issue with all this. Us hardcore radio listeners rely on theater of the mind. Totally get it.
Yep, I do too.
Yeah.
Totally get it. You know what's weird? Like when I go off and I do like Red Eye Radio or some other station around the country, and I'm only on the radio. I've done so much YouTube broadcasting now that it actually feels kind of weird to know that I'm only on the radio, and by the way, I love. I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd go back to radio only. I would, because I love the medium that much. But I know that if I want to make it another 10 years till I retire at the age of 67, I've got to do what I'm doing. So all that to say, we love each and every one of you.
All that to say, like and subscribe. Here's the thing. But this is the other thing that I've said. We have such a large radio audience. Like we are blessed when it comes to conservative talk radio stations, and we are blessed by this audience in so many ways. But if everybody listening to us on the air liked the YouTube page, the digital clout that we would get, like people don't understand this. we would get higher profile interviews. We would get bigger names. People would be knocking on our door to come on the radio station as opposed to the other way around.
Right.
Like, and then it would serve the listeners even more.
That's right.
Like, at the end of the day, this is not a self-serving venture. We're here to serve the listening audience.
All right, 8:56, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Thank you, Chris. We'll talk to you after 9. Joan, we're running late, so I'm assuming you're going to have some semblance of newscast at 9. Dan Matt is here from my friends at DT McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans with great prices, selection, and value. Now, I've been telling you for years about DT McCall's. They've been helping out Middle Tennesseans for 4 generations. And if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. Indoor furniture, appliances. They've got all the best brands at terrific prices. Right there on the front page of their website, specials going on every single day. Now, DT McCall's, they've been at it for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they're going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com.